Has he got in there? Yes, he has.
They had the try, and that was great work from them.
Hello and welcome to this, our live coverage, the second half of a brilliant doubleheader of rugby union here at Havant Rugby Football Club, where the Royal Navy men are set to take on Marine Nationale any moment now. And just to find out how things have been going in camp in the lead up to kickoff, we've been speaking to the Royal Navy men's head coach, Dave Pascoe.
And your role with Royal Navy Rugby?
Yeah, Chief Dave Pascoe. I'm the head coach for Royal Navy Rugby.
Here we are again, Marine Nationale. It's such a feisty fixture, isn't it? And it's such a good preparation for inter-services. But generally, it's just a really good one-off match as well.
Yeah, it's a great fixture. So the 20th anniversary, I was fortunate enough to play in the first one back in 2005, and we've gone pretty much to and fro every year for the last 20 years. So here we go again.
Yeah, we lost 2 years to COVID, but it's 10-8 in favour of the French. But it's very much home advantage is a big thing. So how are you looking forward to this match?
Yeah, 10-8 in the series. They have beaten us over here before, but we tend to beat them over here. Then they seem to get the better of us over in France, with a little help from the assistants at times. But we're hoping to avenge last year for sure here tonight, yeah.
You do know it's always going to be a fairly, can I use the word brutal, it's a very physical match, but then that's the sort of rugby that Royal Navy play as well. So presumably you go into it with the same mindset every year.
Yeah, we need to match the physicality of these guys. The French love it, as you know, and that's how they play rugby, and then they like to express and throw the ball around at the same time. So I expect probably a very physical battle with a real quick set of backs that they have. But they're looking a bit younger than they have done in the past, so I don't know whether they're in a sort of group stage. So I'm looking for our experience really that we got this year to impose onto those guys.
And you have got a lot of experience, but you have got a couple of new caps yourself as well. So Royal Navy Rugby ever evolving. Yeah,
I think last year in this fixture we capped 9 new players, whereas this year we've only got 2. So that is a good thing. Obviously it's amazing for the 2 guys that are getting capped, but it also shows some experience in the group, which I'm looking for them to use tonight.
Happy days. Well, good luck, and we'll be with you all the way.
Thanks very much.
Great.
Cheers.
Thank you, Dave.
With kickoff just moments away, it's time to join our commentary team. Kath Brazier is joined by Lieutenant Colonel Tim Osman.
Well, thank you, Cy, and thank you very much for some great commentary on the women's game. Cy Hunter, of course, rapidly getting down there pitch side, having been with Rocky Clark on the women's game. And just for anyone tuning in just now, that was quite a heavy loss for the Royal Navy women, 53 points to 5. They scored 5 last year to the Marine Nationale's 38, so an improvement from the French side, and I think that'll be a pretty demoralising defeat for them. But I've got Tim Osman with me here on commentary, and I feel like, Tim, you're here as a sort of, kind of a sneaky beaky mission, as well as we also welcome you on commentary. Welcome, but it's
roaring welcome. Thank you. I think I've spied a few Army players knocking around this evening. But
are they in disguise?
But not at all. Not at all. having played our French counterparts last week at Aldershot,
of course,
we are very much on the side of the Royal Navy, the senior service for the UCAF. Boys and girls here today, and very much supporting them against their French counterparts. So
I don't know how much you saw of the women's game. It was very much beaten by the better side, I think, from a rugby point of view.
Yeah, I think that the French women certainly brought a slightly higher level of physicality to the game, and some really good passing from their centres allowed them to play with a fair amount of width, and I'm sure Dave Pascoe will be making sure that his charges tonight will try and counteract the physicality that the French Marine Nationale will certainly bring in the men's team.
Do you think there's anything they could have learnt from your matchup against the French Army last week? Do you think the Marine Nationale play differently to the French Army, or do you think there's a very French way of playing possibly?
Well, that's the classic cliche, isn't
yes,
it? You never quite know which French team is going to turn up, etc., etc. And I think very much as talking to Dave after last year's reverse over in Brittany, that the French tend to play slightly differently at home, and certainly tend to travel perhaps less well. It might be a mixture of officiating and understanding certain interpretations of how home officials perhaps judge the game or otherwise. And certainly that's how we found it to be. Very difficult playing away in France, and they'd probably say it's quite difficult coming over to Britain to play as well. So.
Yeah, because if we look at the history of this match, the men's match in particular, this is actually the 20th anniversary. They started this fixture back in 2005, and it has very much gone with home advantage with a few exceptions. So it does seem that perhaps, maybe we don't travel as well either.
No, I'm sure. And as I said, there's the interpretation factor. I spoke to Dave Pascoe after last year's match, as I said, in Brittany, and it was not a particularly enjoyable experience, I think, for a number of reasons, not least some of the decision making in the game. I think they were nilled at half time, scored very late towards the end, had a couple of yellow cards against the Royal Navy. So it was quite a tricky affair all round, and as I said, they'll be looking to try and reverse that here tonight. I haven't, I'm sure.
It was 19-7 to Marine Nationale last year. Before that, in 2023, it was at Plymouth Albion, and the Royal Navy won that 30-13. So it really does. If you could see the history that I've got here. Interestingly, we do have a lovely story, and obviously you know Dave Pascoe very well. Julien, who is the French coach out here for Marine Nationale, was the scrum half for the French in 2005, when of course Paco was playing for the Royal Navy, and they've kind of mirrored each other's careers, and now they're the head coaches of their respective sides. So the Royal Navy men will be wearing a commemorative shirt, a 20th anniversary commemorative shirt. Not only does that say, how great history, but also how highly they rate this fixture. And it's great to see, Dave, who we know has been Royal Navy, you cut him and he would bleed dark blue. But, it's the same on the French side with Julien as well.
No, it's great, and it's part of the lifeblood of services rugby, where you have people who come through the ranks as players and then keep the joy of the game going through their various jobs and move on through later life, whether it's through coaching or management, administration, or what have you, or refereeing indeed as well. So that's every service is very similar to that. They need people like that across all three services, and putting it through from the young age all the way through to the ripe old age of Dave Pascoe.
Doesn't look at Dave over 21.
I mean, looking at the French team, there's not much compared to what they fielded last year from what I can work out, looking at a couple of team sheets. And there's a couple of players. I think the 15, Deschaux played at 10 last year and kicked a couple of those winning penalties for them. But other than that, it'd be interesting to see that as Dave Pascoe ramps up into the preparations for the inter-services in just a couple of weeks' time for the RAF game, where he's going to settle his charge. It seems to be a much more settled team than last year, so they should be known perhaps where to take on an unfamiliar French team. So it looks like an intriguing fixture ahead.
So let's look at the Navy lineups before the teams come out. If we go to the Royal Navy first, Kai Beasley at number 1. We'll go from 1 to 15. Rhys Williams at 2. Dom Cleverley at 3, so you've got a really strong front row there. Second row, you've got Scott Makepeace, who I can't believe is only on 9 caps, because it seems like he's played a lot longer than that. Dan McAdams partnering him at number 5. In the flankers, we've got Chris Mills and Ben Mallett, and then captain Jared Hayler, who's also the captain of the side, of course, in that really central position at number 8. Will Riggersford at scrum half, Jordan Gott, who's showed so much promise over the last couple of years, at fly half, Craig Duncan on the wing, Adam King and Jamin Hoffman in the centre, Henry Glidden on the other wing, and then Rory Dingmans at full back. So 2 new caps as opposed to 9, I think Dave said they played last year. So a lot of experience in that side.
Yes, indeed. I mean, you mentioned Scott Makepeace there. Lovely guy, Scotty. He played for me for the UCAF during last summer and in the games we had up at Newcastle. He's been out of action for about 6 years for the Navy team, so it's great to see him back in and getting capped again after such a long time. Great guys. Had a good season, the last couple of seasons down at Plymouth Albion, as have a lot of the team, actually. You mentioned Jamin at centre there, Jamin Hoffman, another Plymouth Albion player, former 23s vice skipper, I think, and he's impressed in the last couple of seasons. I've been watching the 23s Inter-Services Championships. He's done really well. And it's great to get him a start as well. Man of match against British Police, I think, last time out as well was Jamin. So.
Yeah, another of those warm-up matches that we have. Marine Nationale now, you say that a lot of sort of names you don't necessarily recognise. I feel like you should be doing this lineup, because Tim Osman, by the way, does speak French. So I did challenge him to do the whole lot in French, but then I wouldn't understand him. But again, we'll go from number 1 to 15. Paul-André Garadel at number 1. Ivan Migre at 2. Julien Gallego at 3, that's the front row there for you. In the second row, we've got Ethan Mio and Louis Finch, which is probably the...
That's good from you there.
In the second row, number 6 at the flankers, we've got Enzo Maru and Benjamin Croya there at the flankers. And number 8, you've got Luca Vaccaro. Scrum half, we've got Thibaut Marchi. Fly half, Enzo Mio. And the wing, you've got Johan Vinas. In the centres, we've got Flavio Yanozu, who's the captain. The other centre is Gail Lia. And on the other wing, it's Arthur Onassim and Matthias Duchot, who is at full-back there. So top marks for my French accent, at least.
A strong B+. A strong B+. Yeah, a strong B+. I thought
Louis
Finch was very good. Louis Finch was very good.
Louis Finch, I've got no translation for. I've just left it as it is.
Louis.
So, I do try my best. So yes, that's the Marine Nationale side. Both sides have got a really strong bench as well. For the replacements for the Royal Navy, you've got Jack Wright, who had a stunning season last season, Tam Lindsay, Ben Watson, Ed Pascoe, Rory Mitchell, Ratu Vatukali, I can never say that either, Vatukali, and Dan Rutter and Jake Hanley as well for the replacements for...
6-2 split for Dave there. It's quite interesting. I was asking some of the Navy chaps beforehand what their version of the bomb squad might be.
Right.
Whether they might drop anchor. I've heard Orc squad. But yeah, I know that, as you said, you mentioned Jack right there, the great impact from the 23s into the Twickenham fixture last year.
Yeah.
And Tam and Baba Watson, his 30th birthday today, will
Baba.
make a decent impact as well. Ed Pascoe is obviously highly qualified, 23 caps, former Pirate and now captain in Red Ruth. And Rory Mitchell and Tukes, as you say, a really good big impact. I'm sure Dave is expecting there from those 6 forwards. And there's some skill set there with Dan Rutter and Jake Hanley, both very versatile as the split for 2. So that bodes well, I think, for later in the game. I don't know if that's a game plan for Dave with my spy cab on, or whether it's Bubba's been deployed a lot, as have a few other people, but or indeed just for the challenges that the starters have made. But that's going to be interesting to see how that pans out later in the second half.
I'm going a bit off piece here as the players walk out. Toots always is such a mild nickname for such a fierce player, isn't it?
Yeah.
You suggest he might be this friendly, like, furry bear, and he isn't at all.
Well, most Fijians are very friendly until you throw them all their way.
Until they play rugby.
Yeah, exactly that.
So the players are coming out. The Marine Nationale will be in red, as were their female counterparts. And there'll be a massive roar as we see the home side, the Royal Navy, come out, and they seem to get bigger every year, Tim.
I think you mean that in a complimentary way.
Obviously.
They look very fit. They've been in camp since February, I think 10 weeks now, pushing down there in Plymouth, over in Tor Point. And I'm sure they're raring to get out after a good run out against the Police last out, and a good chance to pile on into their French counterparts.
I'm not going to give you the pleasure of mentioning the Army-Navy fixture last year, but
what? I don't remember.
I'm not. It's just. Do you think? Well, I mean, you know a lot about the Royal Navy side, obviously involved with Army and UCAF rugby, but do you think there's a danger sometimes of heads not going down, but sort of when they had such a strong first half, you're not expecting them to repeat that mistake again at any time soon?
I wasn't expecting to make that mistake last time out. Yeah,
you would say it was an Army win rather than the Navy making a mistake, I guess.
Well, I think I said after the game, actually, that neither team really deserved to win or lose.
Fair enough,
there we
go.
Yeah, rarely
I can't remember everything you
magnanimous, but
magnanimous.
Did I really mean it? But yeah, I mean, to be honest, for both teams, it's done. It's last year. It's literally old news whether you won or lost it, and I'm sure they'll be able to use that to avenge some of their frustrations and try and prepare for this year, and we'll build in it likewise, whilst trying to avoid complacency. Let's not forget we were pretty appalling in the first half, and they probably weren't overly happy with their second half. So it's all to go for again on 3rd of May. Oh,
it just makes the blood run. I know, at a really high temperature, even if you're just watching from the sidelines. So both teams now being introduced to the presentation party. Let's just say a word for the officials we've got on this game. Referee is Ian Kai. The assistant referee one is Ian Farrell. The second assistant referee is Craig Johnson. And it said TMO. I'm not sure whether it's
technical zone officer.
There you go.
Martin
technical
Bentley.
zone officer is Rebecca Piddleston tonight.
Okay.
So there we go. Yes, that's the before we listen to the national anthems. Rousing renditions then of both national anthems as we are only seconds now away from the kickoff in the second fixture of the day. Royal Navy up against Marine Nationale, and I mean, Tim, it's what's the feeling like in camp before what is effectively an international fixture?
Normally very exciting, absolutely. It's the first capped game of the season, if you like, as we push on into the Inter-Services Championship. It's a final marker, if you like, certainly 2 weeks out for the Royal Navy boys here to stake a claim into the first game of the season for them against the Royal Air Force up at Franklin's Gardens in 2 weeks' time. So there's a bit of tension, there's a bit of pressure. They know what's coming at them from the French perspective. This game has got a bit of previous, I think, is the term. And so they'll be all guns blazing, ready to go. Very excited. very charged and looking to put in a performance.
And do you need this fixture ahead of inter-services, or would you say there's enough kind of hype around inter-service as it is, or do you feel like it's a really nice sort of way to get, you know, people in the zone, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I mean, my personal thinking behind it, and it's something we're trying to do with redshirt rugby at the moment, is to try and develop more capped matches. Whether it's, you know, we played the Irish Defence Force last year. They unfortunately couldn't manage to host us this year. But again, we'll go over to Australia later on in the season to play against Australian Defence Force in a cap match, and New Zealand.
Nice.
And so, you know, to try and get the opportunity for service players to get more than the 2 games, if you like, during the inter-services. There's more to service rugby than that.
Yeah.
It's very hard to replicate what they're going through now in the final women's for kickoff, in the friendlies, if you like. It's not quite the same thing.
Friendly also makes me laugh as well. Friendly off the pitch, obviously. And Jordan Gott with the ball in his hands, and he will start proceedings for the Royal Navy. And the score last year, just as a reminder, was 19-7. So Royal Navy really looking to put some early points on the board, I imagine. And we are underway here at Havant Rugby Club, and the possession falls into the hands of Marine Nationale. And these early minutes in every sport, Tim, are really, really crucial, aren't they, to put a sort of mark on the game?
Exactly that. Players want to get their hands on the ball, want to get into contact, want to do something, whether it's a tackle, whether it's a kick, whether it's a run, whether it's a catch, pass, whatever it may be, just to settle the nerves a bit and to get into it.
Lovely take by the Royal Navy's fullback Rory Dingman's there, but the ball has been won by the French. And discipline will be something they need to watch as well, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. A nice kick there by Thibaut Marchier at 9. Roy Dingman's kind of got man and ball, nowhere to go, and a little bit isolated and got penalised for holding on. Good box kick from the French to start, good chase, and they march up towards the 10-yard line.
Box kick has become a really unfashionable sort of thing in rugby. You know, everyone's complaining about the way England play at the moment, but it is quite a sort of, it's a tactical play, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. If you've got a good kicker and you can put pressure on that defender, absolutely it is. I don't think it's unfashionable for England. They seem to do it quite a lot.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's unfashionable from a fan perspective, but possibly not from England, yes.
It's disliked a little bit, I guess, if you keep on doing it, because there's more attacking opportunity points elsewhere. But
yeah, I think if you know that they can play ball in hand, and they fail to do that. But the French very much in control here in the first few minutes on the 22, and I'm sure we'll be pushing for the line.
Yeah, as ever, the back row trying to get the hands on the ball, making some hard yards. That's, I think, Vaccaro, the number 8, Lucas Vaccaro, carrying a couple of times alongside the hooker as well, Megre, not the detective. So, yeah, look, trying to get into the hard yards around the fringes now. They're going a little bit wider.
All right, they've got it out to the left wing here, the French, and they're still in good possession, looking pretty slick in the early stages. But no doubt the senior service men will have prepared for this, and you know, you can't have a game where it's 99% of your possession. You've got to defend as well, and they're pretty good at that.
Yeah, they'll just be getting into their processes now, settling down, as I said earlier on. That discipline, trying not to give any penalties away, which is good. A kick away there, taken for a mark, back down on the right wing there by Henry Glidden, I think. So, you know, they'll be quite happy with getting the turnover effectively there, the Navy. A bit of phase play, a bit of width from the French on both sides from that line out. But the Navy have snuffed it out. Jordan Gott's managed to take it to the edge of the 22, and the French will come again.
Take out a tree in the process. Yeah, lovely placed kick there from the French number 10, Enzo Mio. I just want to be practicing these names, but didn't quite get it in the right position for his wing. But the French have possession again, and there's some quick ball from the men in red. And do you know what? The Royal Navy probably enjoy this. In the first sort of defensive 5 minutes, it sort of gets that blood boiling in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can see Jared Haler making a menace of himself there with a couple of shots coming in, leading from the front as ever. It's a real point of strength for the Royal Navy, their back row. And that'll be backed up. We've got turnover ball here. Jared's taking the ball over in. Secured by Dom Cleverley over the top there, and Will Wigglesford probably look to box and exit.
So Jared Haler in the scrum cap as ever, but you can also recognise him by his tash.
Good exit from Will Wigglesford. He's really played well the last couple of years, came through the Navy 7 system. Coached him actually many years ago back at Eastleigh as a civilian club before he joined the Navy, and is really excelling down in Cornwall at the moment with the Pirates.
Eastleigh, that's where I'm from.
It's the nice end of Southampton, isn't it?
Well, some people call it Beastly Eastleigh. Not sure I should say this when I'm in the south, but yeah, we're from.
I think he might have walked straight into that one.
Yes, Chandler's Ford.
Oh, there
nice
we go.
part.
There we go.
Lovely from
so
the
a little dink
French.
through there from Duchot, last year's 10.
Oh, lovely
weighted
take.
kick. It's
Still with the front, no.
knocked forward, sadly, I think, by the left wing there.
Oh, it was nearly beautiful.
Johan Venus, yeah, lovely kick there from Mathieu Duchot through from the left-hand side. And the French come out with real positive intent, looking to get behind and behind the Navy back line, and probably caused them a few problems back there.
I think a win for either side in foreign territory is like almost a double win, isn't it? Because it just seems so hard to do.
Yeah, really special. Yeah, I'll take you back to some of the issues we talked about earlier on with the whether it's language barrier, whether it's slight interpretation of, whether it's the scrum, as I was just about to see here. Yeah, we had the same last year. I think the penalty count was something like 17-3 against us. We managed to win the game, I think, by 10 points with I think it was 5-1 in tries. So
wow.
yeah, it's difficult, and you really take a lot of pleasure in away wins, especially when it involves playing away in France.
I just wanted to make a correction. I said the TZO was Rebecca Piddleston, but you've actually got it down, and quite rightly, as someone else.
Martin Bentley, I think.
Martin Bentley. Just want to give him the credit he deserves.
Really, obviously, yeah. I saw. Oh, I didn't see Pids earlier on. I saw Martin lining up when we came out with the anthem. So I think, yeah, he's running the technical zones over on the far side tonight.
Marvellous.
And Pids cannot sadly be here.
We don't really have a TMO, do we? I mean, BFBS is what is filmed, so if you want to argue with us, that's absolutely fine.
I wouldn't, Ian, I think, would probably not want to come and defer to me for my opinion on his refereeing or indeed the decisions. So very close, within a couple of metres of the try line for the French, and it's a Navy put in. Will Riggersford there. Decent scrum.
Oh,
Jared
lovely.
off the back. Nice and solid platform there from the Navy front row and the Navy tight 5. Jared flying down the right-hand side, and looks like there's another play out before they an exit. Carried by Rhys Williams. Jordan Gott just pushing himself back into the pocket. It looks like it's going to be Will Riggersford at 9 again to clear.
And you're right. So the Navy, slowly making a bit more progress upfield, and that's the sort of longest they've had possession for a while.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see what's going on with this wind. It seems to be swirling a little bit down here at Hooks Lane. With the big fir trees surrounding the pitch, it's hard to see where that's coming from, but I almost thought that kick was charged down a little bit. Will didn't quite catch it sweetly, I don't think. So it's only just outside the 22.
So line up for the French, but that
overthrow. Reece has picked it up.
Brilliantly falls for the Navy. And this is such a good opportunity for the men in dark blue.
Yeah,
Taylor again.
You could see how they were set up defensively there with Reece at the back of the line-outs and Jared defending the 10 channel. So when that ball came over the top, Jared kindly gave it to Jordan to truck up in the centre channel on the turnover, unfortunately. I think Jordan rather giving that to Jared to hook it up.
It's really good to see from the Navy that they are attacking from this far down the field. They've got faith, obviously, in their full 15.
Excellent chop tackle there on Dan McCallum's big man. The French defender took him down low. That's a good clearance now, though, from Riggersford into the Marine Nationale backfield. A carry back from Vaccaro at 8.
Big lad, Vaccaro. He's going to run in a few tackles, I reckon.
He's got a big chest. Barrel of a man, isn't he?
I mean, the advantage of Jared Hayler at 8 for the Navy is his fleet of foot, I would say, as a number 8. But, he's not afraid of getting stuck in on the tackles either. Oh, a lovely take from French.
Slightly loose cross kick there from Jordan, picked up from, is it the left wing again, or is it the fly half, was it, running down the side there?
Yes.
Miot.
Well handled by Riggersford, though.
Yeah, he allowed them to a bit of space and time coming onto the ball back there to get it into the Navy 22, and back we go again to try and engineer an exit.
Repeat of 2 minutes ago.
But yeah, Jordan, absolutely. He loves the abrasive contact nature of the game, as his defence lends itself to. But yeah, he's very dynamic on the carry and a bit of open space, and he can cause you a lot of problems. That's a better kick now, and we go up to the 10-yard line. So both teams kind of jousting around a little bit, aren't they? Really, just settling down a bit.
It happens a lot, doesn't it? It's almost like getting a feel for where they're at, where their strengths are.
Yeah, and you want to sort of test out, find out, try and probe a few weaknesses without taking too much risk at the same time. So the French are probably happy with the territory now, playing at arm's reach away from their own red zone, and the Navy just trying to get their foot on the ball a little bit, so to speak.
Well, they've not done well on the line now.
Yeah,
there's two that have gone.
Two dodgy throws. Here's Jared on the march. Great carry, great work in the tackle area, and that Frenchman needs to probably roll away a little bit, slowing that ball down there, which the French defence will be happy with.
I think it's Ben Mallett who's received it both times at the back of the line out, and taken full advantage.
Yeah, another dynamic carrier, Ben. Very fit young Marine, decent player, great pedigree through Muirfield, and I think he's now playing his rugby down in Camborne. Great hands from the skipper, hitting AJ King, who manages then to find Ben.
Lovely.
Onto Henry Glidden, round to the outside. A lot of space here, a lot of width.
This is good stuff from the Royal Navy. Really quick ball as well.
Yeah, just forward pass there from Jared onto Chris Mills, which is a shame.
I think that was a quick ball. I was excited by that, but it was perhaps a bit not as quick as we were hoping.
Jared just tipping the pass on a little bit. The pass stuck him and just affected Chris Mills to just mistime his run a touch and get in front of the ball carrier. So scrum down to the French. But yeah, you're right. There's two loose lineouts. That's something that I'm sure the Navy will be tracking, looking to perhaps focus on. They've got a good set piece, and that will be an area where they might be able to exploit the French in the rest of the game.
I wonder whether it's also just that the Navy. I mean, I know you can't interfere at a line-out, but you can sort of get in the way and make them offline and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was saying it's a bit blowy out there, so it's not easy for the hookers. Certainly not if they want to try and exploit some length on the throw, and the Navy will be able to bounce people up and down and make that more difficult for them. So they'll be looking to try and challenge that, I'm sure.
So Marine Nationale put in at the scrum. And the Royal Navy trying to turn them around.
Yeah, you just see.
So that's they love that.
Dom cleverly charging around the loose head there. Sorry, Kai Beasley charging around the loose head on this side, and really get round.
That was celebrated like they planned it. Referee's having a word. But Jordan Gott has the ball in hand. I think he'll kick to touch.
I'm just getting confused with the hats here. I know Don Cleverley routinely wears his white hat.
Oh, okay.
I hadn't spotted the great LBzo himself. Where is he?
Oh, that one's...
There he is. He's taken all his hair off. That's why I didn't recognise him. I recognise that run anyway.
So Kai Beasley, no hair.
Yeah, absolutely. He's seen the light perhaps, but routinely the worst dressed man in UCAF rugby, the legend that is Kai Beasley. He'll be delighted with that scrum. It's a great start from him.
I really hope he listens back.
I'm sure he
will. For all his flowing compliments.
He'll take that as a compliment, I think. The Lord of the Rings megastar that he is.
So Rhys Williams with the throw in, and a great line out from straight to make peace.
Well taken by Scotty there. Certainly looked a lot more comfortable in the first couple of French set pieces, so they're getting a march on. They managed to get in amongst and strip that there. Came in from an offside position on the change behind through that driving ball, so I imagine Jordan will stick this into the corner again, and the Navy will get another shot at the driving line out, perhaps.
Yeah, well, the plan is definitely working. Scott Makepeace has taken all his hair off as well, I see.
I don't think that's quite as new for the for the towering number 4 second row there. I mean, one of his talents is, he's a big abrasive man, but he's also dynamic and actually not too heavy, if you like, for these tall guys. So probably as a lifter, a line-out lifter's dream, because he can get high, they can boost him, and he can really challenge well on that.
So Williams again, much closer now.
Looks like a 6+1. Will Riggers back 10 in the channel. It goes to Haler.
Another dropped it though.
Bobble though, sadly there, just the missed time.
That's unfortunate. French really pleased with that.
Yeah, the plugs came in to push him then towards the try line just before he was down, I think, and that dislodged the ball, sadly, from a good line-out take from Jared. French scrum, but let's see if Bezo and his friends can target this one instead.
Oh yeah, Kai Beasley, I can see him now. Like Scott Makepeace's shorter twin.
Now, I'm wondering which one of those two will take umbrage at that comment.
Probably both. You know, I've got to talk about stuff. You know, I've got to keep us ticking over here on commentary.
Yeah, it was this beautiful shiny head that confused me because it looked like he had a white scrum hat on there against the floodlight shine earlier on. So I was like, hang on a second. Don Cleverley's clearly on the tight head too.
So French put in, but they are just metres from the Navy try line.
Yeah, real pressure now here, I think, on the French pack. Bit of pressure on the last scrum, 2 penalties. Line out taken apart a little bit. The Navy will be frustrated at their accuracy on that, well, the previous 2 lineouts really. The first one let the French guy get in between the seams and just disrupt the ball, and the second one, as I said, just dislodged as Jared came down to get the nudge on. So.
It's almost like he was pushed before he had proper purchase on the ball.
Yeah, nice and eager timing to get that, that on the move to beat the French to their defence, but yeah, just dislodged the ball. Let's see what they can do here. Yeah, Bezo's got his guy on side, so they got it out quickly though. And the clearance from the
still in play though.
From Miot keeps it in.
Oh, unlucky, because that's a knock on. That's a shame for the Royal Navy.
And again,
but that was spinning like you wouldn't believe in the air there, and I'm sure that's something to do with the wind as well.
Oh yeah, it was a miss hit as well, I think, from Miot there, wasn't it? And it just held up. Rory Digman's coming through to collect it. Had to come a long way and didn't quite manage to gather it. Well played by Jordan Gott as well, just managed to jump over the ball, so he wasn't offside. So if it touched him then, whilst he was in front of the ball, that would have been a penalty. So he did well, good awareness from Jordan, and following the French knock-on, they went back to the first defence, so another red scrum. Not all over here, let's keep him down here, I think.
Those high balls are something you must practice a lot, though.
Yeah, but as I say, it seems really quite swirly tonight. It's been a very windy day down the south coast all day. And with the sort of tree line there, that might be as the ball goes higher, it moves around a little bit more. We've got to stand on this side. It's boxed in by different heights of fir trees. So, yeah, it's not easy out there. And they're off. Quick tap.
Another chance for Dingmans, and he takes it cleanly this time. Uses the space, but the French have a mark.
And the French take the mark. Yeah, I think that's okay. It'll be a Navy line out here. You can see from that scrum again. I think, the Navy type 5 there licking their lips. That's the kind of pressure they're putting on their French counterparts. Just caught going a little bit early, perhaps. It could have easily been the French to not perhaps engage as hard, a little bit of pressure, buying the free kick, if you like. But we want to watch that develops now. They're clearly upper hand there from the Navy pack. And into the breeze. Not a great clearance, and it's a Navy ball from the 10-yard line.
Yeah, the Navy momentum's definitely swung in their favour in the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, just a little bit of territory, isn't it? So just trying to get a bit of squeeze on here. The French finding it a little bit harder to exit.
No score on the board as yet. A good 15 minutes in.
Yeah, nice little set play in the peel from the dummy drive came round. Again, I think he's given for a knock-on. It looked pretty forward, actually, from I think Rhys Williams come round on the peel to AJ King coming on a hard line. Reset again in the French scrum.
Yeah, a little bit of the speed that we saw and sort of dynamism we saw in the first sort of 5 minutes is lost, but that's rugby for you. You know, it sort of got into the quagmire a little bit, but that happens. It's a thinking game. We have to remember that.
Well, it goes back to what we were saying at the start, I guess. You know, that there's a bit of tension, there's a bit of nervousness going around. That should be out the way now as they're into their work. And again, and then down to a little bit of rustiness, perhaps causing the odd bit of inaccuracy. They'll settle down, I'm sure.
Yeah, no one's expecting no score in this game because it's very likely that both these sides will make a breakthrough at some point as the French have the ball. Great running here from the men in red. They've got both sides if they want it, and this could be a try. Yes, it's not going to be stopped by the Royal Navy. And the first score, as we're talking about it, goes to Marine Nationale.
Johan Vinas, very quick down the left. I think there's probably a forward pass, actually, before he got that far. Great intent from the back of the scrum. They pushed all 7 swinging around onto the left to try and keep that overlap. Great ball back inside, but then I think that final pass will probably look a little bit the wrong side of adjacent if I had a navy blue shirt on.
Well, I'll tell you what, I haven't got the replays off at the moment, but I'm sure that will be possible. I'm sure our viewers will be able to see that now. But in the end, it has been marked down as a French try, and they are 5-0 up within the first quarter.
Yeah, it's one of those, I guess, that, you know, technically, perhaps if it was forward, you know, it didn't necessarily affect that final 2-on-1. Doesn't mean it should stand, but the Navy probably looking back at some of the defensive set going into that right-hand scrum D there they put on. Decent play from the French, nice and quick, great ambition to go from this far out. And they get the just rewards.
I think we might have our answer to which French teams turned up, though. The free-flowing one.
Absolutely. Yeah, they'll be happy with that. As you said, they'd been under a bit of pressure in their 22 over the previous 5 minutes or so, but after the first quarter, you know.
They fail to add the 2 points, though, with a conversion, so it just remains 5 to the French, to the Marine Nationale, and nothing so far for the senior service. But we're only 20 minutes in, Tim. We've got a game and a half to go.
Long way to go, yeah, absolutely.
The French then back in possession.
Yeah, back to Vaccaro, one of their main ball carriers coming off the 9 there, the big number 8. Taken back in, so they won't be able to kick out, the French. Goes long back to Roy Dingemans, back into his own half.
Oh, Dingman.
Great feet.
Yeah.
He loves a bit of counter-attacking, Rory. Very quick, very agile. Good sevens player. Finding some space there.
Navy just caught in a bit of a cluster there.
They lost a bit of shape, but
yeah.
they've settled down now. Well carried in by Rhys Williams.
Oh, is the refs let that happen? Yeah.
I think that was the six coming through onto Will Ruggersford. So they've got it back.
They've got it back.
Great hands from Ben, unlucky.
Clean it up a little bit.
The touch judge has called that in, I think. The assistant has called that in as Will Ruggersford was taken there. Just a French knock on as it came through. They'll settle down again, and the Navy will look to take the scrum and launch again.
Yeah, we can't judge really anything. I would say it's been fairly equal, apart from, you know, I know the score says 5-0, but it's fairly equal so far. And the Navy, you know, five points to them is nothing.
No, a long way to go. There's nothing in that at all. I think probably the French have maybe had the slightly better attacking opportunities, or certainly made the most of them. A bit of time in the 22 in the first 10 minutes, and then that great try then from 60 yards out as well. But nothing that the Navy can't overcome here. They'll look to launch here, I'm sure, and they'll be a little bit frustrated with perhaps, as I said, the accuracy they've started with, and it can easily be remedied.
So Rigglesford with the put in. And Navy
a
going
bit
for
of a messy
push.
one, but they win the penalty.
Yes.
They stay in there.
Haylor takes it himself.
Yeah, playing with free ball now, so they might try something. No, it comes through again, another penalty.
Yeah, he's
not going to help them. Another 5 yards further forward for the Royal Navy team to perhaps kick long down this left-hand touchline.
Rickelson, I think he was looking to take it really quickly, but his team was still getting off the floor.
He's always a threat. He's electric off the mark, Will. But yeah, another good scrummage there. That's, I think, 3 scrum penalties now from the Navy pack, and that will be concern to the French contingent.
Got of the pink boots with a great positional kick there. Brilliant.
Yeah, he's been playing well. I think he's played 3 tests of Belgium this spring, so he'll be looking to bring that form and confidence into the inter-services too. Lovely strike of the ball, Jordan.
Yeah, he had a great game. Well, great couple of games last year. You know, still being fairly new into the side, but you know that international experience must speak volumes when he's on the pitch.
Yeah, he spent a bit of time playing in France as well, which is always a little bit of an education. So yeah, he'll be relishing a chance to go again, I'm sure, this season.
Speaking of people playing in France, have you got a certain Rocco de Gouni back from across the pond, the army?
Yeah, the big man's back. He's playing in for Doncaster in the Championship this season. He played for us against the French Army de Terre last week.
And Royal Navy with just pushing their way towards the try line. Wrigglesford with his hands on the ball, but at the moment it's just to control things. And this is a classic Navy move, and they've got so much strength, and they'll take it over, and they put it down. He's pointing Wrigglesford's. Oh, it says it's been held up. Wrigglesford said no.
Just unsighted, perhaps couldn't see it. He's given the goal line dropout. Really good organisation. That was a long way out. Best part of 20 metres pushed there. They kept their shape. You said Will Wrigglesford stayed attached on the end. They kept their shape whilst the French had to re-engage, having lost their bind. As soon as you change your bind, you've got to go back to the back and start again. And the Navy kept marching on. I reckon that's looking ominous for a couple of decent pushovers. And
yeah, that was brilliant.
I'm sure Rhys Williams will be licking his lips before Jack Wright comes on and scores it himself.
Ben Priddy there, who's obviously now part of the coaching staff. That was his go-to, the pushover try.
An expert in the trailer, there, as all good hookers are. And Ben will be happy with his forwards charges there, as will John, I'm sure.
Haler then with the ball again. So present for his team, and Wrigglesford out to Gott.
Yeah, good line speed from the midfield then, in the French defence, just cutting off the exits, so they've come a bit tighter. Good inside line for Dom Cleverley. Off Dan McAdams. Another penalty. The French losing a bit of discipline and shape here, which will start to frustrate. Navy will look to maximise some of these possessions and get that first try on the board. That's another penalty.
Oh, brilliant.
Here we go.
Well,
he's taking his hands up the ruck. That's pretty crass mistake. I think Ian Kai will go to his first sanction, which will be a warning to the French skipper here.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's we talked about discipline, and at the moment that is really affecting the French, even though they are ahead on the scoreboard.
Yeah, he's just called over Ian Uso, the French centre, the skipper, and say I think it's probably 3 or 4 in the last 2 or 3 minutes. That'll be the warning. Next guy will get a carte jaune and be dismissed for the 10 minutes. It's a carton, I think they call it, not a carte. So again, Jordan looking to push this one into the far right-hand corner now, I think. Looks to see where, I don't know who's calling for the Royal Navy line out, maybe Scott Makepeace. See where this one will go, and they will probably try and get a nudge on again. 10 yards out, got a bit of way to go. Third time lucky, is this? 4th time lucky now?
he's got the floodlight to aim for, which is quite nice. That must be that's just only a couple of metres out from the try line, so that must...
Yeah, it gives you a target, and of course it's one of those, again, risk rewards. As I say, it's windy out there, and they get that wrong, and he gets it, 1 metre side of that corner flag. And it goes back to a French ball. So.
Oh, that nearly bobbled again, but luckily came off British boot. But it's back with the French. A bit of handling errors in the line out again, Tim.
Yeah, it was knocked backwards. The French guy had crept round offside potentially, but he got away with it. Great breakout here from the centre. That's Liat, I think, 13.
Yes, Gaia Liat.
And they go downtown again. So it's a little bit harum-scarum for the French. They're trying to get out. Will Wrigglesford kicking long. Back to Duchot.
Yeah, the French are...
Rangy fullback.
They're definitely backing themselves on the runs through the defence.
Yeah, they found another edge now, and this off to the speedster.
Oh, good tip. Great tip from the Navy there.
Yeah, they've turned Venus over.
Right.
Game's livened up.
Yes, they need to be sensible, get their sensible heads on, and keep it smooth for the Royal Navy.
Off his feet now, the French.
Oh, he's called it for French.
The first signal the referee gave was the hands on the floor from the French defender, so therefore had to leave the ball alone. And he's given a penalty against Navy. Vaccaro's gone again.
Yeah, he's a bit of a steam train, that one.
And that's a yellow, I think, straight yellow for Chris Mills for that intervention on the floor then.
Oh dear. Well, do you say a straight yellow? Oh, straight penalty.
Oh, it's to Will Wrigglesford, excuse me, his Pirates teammate. Will Wrigglesford's been sent, maybe it was the tackle before he'd gone 10.
Yes.
On the quick tap from, was it Vaccaro again? He's been very influential.
Yeah, it was a quick tap, and he went straight into...
He went take. Will Wrigglesford tackled him before he'd gone the 10 yards as a sort of cynical straight yellow, really from from referee Kai without any warning, which is perfectly legitimate, and that offers the French place kicker there, Duchot, an opportunity from 3 right in front.
Right in front. It looked to me like Rugglesford was trying not to do it. He was just being pushed back by the steam train that is Vaccaro, but...
yeah, a bit of gamesmanship in that, I think.
Yeah.
He's a strong lad, Will, but Vaccaro is a hell of a beast, isn't he? If I look at him, he's really very influential on the carry there, and their main ball carrier, I think, so far. So a spurt of energy there from the French last couple of minutes has given the opportunity to go up to 8-0 ahead.
So Duchot full-back with the kick.
Sweeps it through.
And that's another 3 points for Marine Nationale. So no points to the senior service, to the Royal Navy men, 8 points to Marine Nationale. And we are half an hour into this game now. And yeah, again, this won't worry the Royal Navy. You know, you need something to fight against, and they've been the more disciplined. I just think the French are being a bit quicker on the ball. They're being a bit more aggressive.
Yeah, slightly sort of scruffy 5 minutes there from the Royal Navy, wasn't it? And David probably wanted to just settle the guys down and get a bit of composure back into them. They increased a bit of pressure, the Royal Navy, up until that point, and a couple of surges out of their own territory got them that 3, and of course a yellow card now, and a 9 being off the pitch is influential for the Navy attack here. You can see the French really trying to get the ball out to that left edge. Venus is lightning quick on that left wing. Très rapide.
Yes, they seem
that
to...
means really quick.
I know. Very quick, isn't it?
Yeah. Vraiment.
Rapido, is that Spanish? Oh, they've done a... The French have done what the Royal Navy did to them on a couple of tries. It hasn't really worked out the best, but...
yeah, overthrow there, and the hack through from the French scrum. Fortunately, bobbles out, and Rhys Williams will get another go. Just a bit of sort of, you know, bit of breathing space near for the Royal Navy, just to settle down, get some composure back in the game, and get their game management into play.
We've had quite a lot of French interaction during the women's game, so I'm just going to check the messages in a bit and see what we've got. It's nice to know that our friends across the water are watching. And of course, being a Forces audience, everyone's all over the world, so that's always a good thing.
We have to mind our grammar as well then.
Well, you say you speak French, so you'll be fine.
I think
I'm the one that's going to be in trouble.
High challenge there on to Cleverley, but he's not giving it. Lovely tip on from Rhys
Lovely
Williams
ball.
into Chris Mills. He's had a great season with Cornish Pirates. The former winger.
Is he?
A hell of a chef as well, I'm led to believe,
Oh,
in
wow.
his own time
Multi-skills.
as Chrissy Mills.
So he'll be doing the post-match dinner then?
It's been known, I think, with his colleague Rory Mitchell on the bench. There's a bit of catering, these two stars.
Great catch again from Duchamp.
Good pressure from AJ King on the chase, but there's a bit short on the left-hand side.
Ball's loose again.
The French couldn't get it there, and there's just a knock-on as they forced that play out there.
So knock on by the Royal Navy, gives Marine Nationale possession again, but deep in the Royal Navy territory. And yeah, what do you think the Royal Navy need to do? Or they're not necessarily doing anything wrong, and they've had ball in hand. They've done, worked some really good line-outs. What do they, as they come towards sort of half-time, what do they need to do? They'd love to get a score before half-time, so it's always really nice to go into the dressing room with, with the score on the board. Yeah,
absolutely, and you can see the water coming on here during the stoppage. I think Ben Priddy's managed to just trot on there too with Ben Chambers. They'll be passing some messages on from the coaching team. I think, to be honest, they'll be a little bit frustrated with the last 10 or 15 minutes or so. Yeah, we saw a couple of missed opportunities there with the line-out drives into 22 earlier on, and then a relatively cheap exit from the French allowed them to get up and take that penalty just a few moments ago. So they'll be looking to add a bit of composure now, I think, just to settle down, improve their accuracy, and just create some decent face play to get into the French, get into the defensive line, get behind them, and just try and force that first score, just to settle them down a bit. Once they get going, I think they'll be fine.
I think it's really hard to appreciate watching, even from the stand where we're sort of sheltered from the wind, and possibly, on BFBS Forces News YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching, how windy it is out there. And Tim's talked a lot about it. It's affected, kicks, it's affected line-outs, and when it's swirly, it's almost more difficult than a strong wind, because you don't know what you're dealing with. It comes from every direction.
If that wind is consistent, you can kind of aim off for a little bit, and whether it's behind you, crossways, or going into it, at least you have that consistency. certainly with some of these kicks, we've seen them move around quite a lot, which will be a little bit challenging for the back three especially, and also from the kickers when they're trying to execute their exits.
The French again out on that left wing, which has proved very strong for them so far.
Yeah, some good hands from the centre up there. Again, challenging the ball to get into the hands of Venus on the left wing. In through the back row. Now they're looking to come across this side.
They've got a lot of space and they go for the long kick, but not really got any length on it whatsoever. But they're going to rely on their... Oh, lovely defence by Royal Navy. That was really close. There's a run in between Jamin Hoffman, who's on his first cap, and the French winger as well. But
yeah, Miot's cross kick there to the right wing on his seam was kind of a lateral kick pass, really. But it meant that the Navy's defence had to flatten out straight away. He managed to get the kick down that right-hand touchline, and as you say, yeah, Jamin Hoffman got back really well to tidy that up.
He did, and he was in a foot race with Onasim, who's the right wing for the Marine Nationale, and he won it in the end, really. I mean, he distracted him enough.
Especially having turned. Good footwork. He's a good boxer, Jamin Hoffman.
Oh,
so managed to turn around and get back there, but the Navy kept the pressure on in the 22 now. Vaccaro on the charge again.
So...
Or is it Vaccaro? What do you reckon?
It's Vaccaro, I think.
Oh,
I think you're right. Luca Vaccaro.
Luca Vaccaro.
It's one of those ones where you can say it as you see it.
So going through the hard yards now, picking and going around to the left-hand side of the ruck towards the post. Good close-quartered defence from the Navy.
Yeah, they're not letting them any metres. They're definitely going laterally. It's like a crab crawling across the pitch.
Yeah, they're just trying to slow the ball down a bit, get their defensive set, make sure they've got numbers. French go wide again towards Venus. Good tackle from Henry Glidden out on the edge. And Navy looks set.
Well, this is definitely the wing they favoured for the try they scored, but Royal Navy will be smart to that, and they have not let them make any metres, to be honest, at the moment, Tim.
No, they just let them challenge into the midfield before they could bounce back left again, and they've got away with it. But then a forward pass slips through, so the Navy will be quite happy with that.
Yeah, good.
The French went wide to the edge, came back, and they were a little bit off it in terms of their work rate, and bounced straight back left again. It's easy for the Navy defence to pick up, and they forced the error there from the French. Gives them 5 more minutes before half-time to try and turn this around a little bit, although it's a long way to go from the scrum in their own 22.
Yes.
Treatment for Vaccaro, I think. Probably got bruised ribs and shoulders from the amount of ball carrying he's doing. He must have had he must have been on the ball a good 8-9 times this first half on the carry.
No, it's the tackles from Will Riggersford that have caused the bruising, I'm sure.
Not while he's been in the sin bin, it hasn't.
Of course it hasn't. I forgot we were one man down.
10 men, Will Riggersford. Hard as nails, that boy.
So just affording us a little bit of break here, and let's see if what sort of interaction we've had on YouTube. Like I said earlier, we've had a lot of our friends from across the water commenting, but we've also got some brilliant. Nadia Deblo says, "Allez la Marine Nationale." Allez la Marine. We've got a lot of that, but we've also got a lot of "Come on Royal Navy," "Let's go Navy" from all over. We've got G. Humphrey, who's hello from Canada. Nice to see everyone enjoying the beautiful weather. Well, we did have sun earlier on, but as obviously that starts to set. But it has been a lovely day here on the south coast, but very windy.
Great to have been Oud in the boot.
Oud in the boot. He loves the. You can speak Canadian as well, then.
Yeah, not quite as fluent. My American's better.
So a reminder, of course, the women played earlier, and unfortunately it was quite a thumping defeat for the Royal Navy women, 53 points to 5 against their Marine Nationale counterparts. But we are nearly halfway through the men's match here, and there's a great kick from Craig Duncan. Yeah,
stopping him behind. So Rory Diggerman stepped up to play 9 for that scrummage. Craig Duncan moved in off the left wing with his great left boot. He's got a fantastic range on that left kick. Bounced down into the 10-yard line and the French half. Pressure to be exerted here on the French line-up, surely from Scott Makepeace and his men. Try and create a bit of pressure now as they close into the half-time period.
French line out then, and again they work it across to their left wing, but a missed time pass there puts them back at least a couple of metres.
Yeah, just checked Venus. He had to go back and find it again, but his footwork got him out the hole he was in. Another big carry up from the French pack. And downtown again from Miot. Safety taken to Rory wrong. It's Craig who's obviously moved back into fullback now, with Rory moving up to play 9. And another great exit. He's had a fantastic season, Craig Duncan, mainly on the left wing for Plymouth Albion there. 14 tries, I think, at National 1. Doing a great job for his team, both at left wing and fullback for the temporary period here as well for his team here tonight. I think Will Wrigglesworth is due back on any minute. He's just warming up on the sidelines. Managed to marshal that period fairly well with just those 3 points given on that yellow card awarded in the last 10. I think the French managed to get away the line out there. It was a little bit scrappy. I think the Navy might be a little bit annoyed they didn't challenge. See what they do this time to try and compete. It's a bit better. Scott Makepeace got up to try and challenge. Knock on is just what the Navy need from the French in midfield, and they'll come back for the scrum, will they? The ref signalled.
Yes,
no advantage. He's coming back. So key moment now for them. 3 minutes to go.
For the Royal Navy.
Yeah, great attacking scrum, isn't it? Into the 22. Oh, he's come back from the first offence.
So it's French ball.
Yeah, come back. Yeah, so the French knocked it on, but the AR on this side. Is it Fraser Todd? I can't see. He's just called into referee Kai. I think he's challenged Scott Makepeace there for jumping across the line on that French line out and penalised him. So
Makepeace obviously claiming that he had nothing to do with that.
Well, he's an honest chap. And the French get an opportunity to clear their lines. Another frustration.
Yes, and looking less and less likely that the Royal Navy will get. But Craig Duncan's got the ball.
That
Lovely.
win again. Excellent.
Oh, great running there from Henry Glidden as well. But the French have the ball, but they throw it away. That's a bit scrappy. Oh yeah, another. Well, that actually went forward, even though it went backward first. But
yeah, that's allowed. If the pass goes backwards, it's okay, even if it then subsequently bounces forward. I think but it's picked up by Venus again. He's wrapped up. It looks like a turnover here from the Royal Navy pack over on the far side.
Great work by the Royal Navy, and oh dear, knock on.
No, it's gone backwards. It's gone backwards, I think.
Okay, all right.
But they're playing on. Butterfingers from Rhys Williams, but he's got away with it.
I'll take it.
Ben Malak carries short up the right. The offside out here, but they've missed it. And again, really, I think the French right wing here, Arthur on his team, is flirting with danger. He seems to be well in front of the back foot. Jordan got carries through nicely.
Absolutely brilliant. He didn't quite have that to begin with, but he held on.
Another hard line from Reese. It was 3 or 4 phases now. The Navy just putting something together just before half-time, aren't they?
Yeah, this is what they need. This is definitely what they need.
AJ King carries. Well stopped by his French centre captain and counterpart.
Got again, nice little ball to Makepeace. Yeah, again, they're not really making any metres, but French defence is
Rory Dingman's with a snipe around the right-hand side of that ruck. It's quite static and slow ball, though. Out the back to Hoffman. Well surrounded by a big flaming wall of red, which looks like it's a tackle release now. They're going to get the ball back.
So, Royal Navy ball, and they really need a score before half-time.
Yeah, good
just
carry by
lifts the
Beasley.
heads.
Yeah, they just want to keep the patience, keep the ball. They want to come away with something here. 3, 5 or 7. They're making little headway against this strong red defence at the moment.
Dan McAdams there with the ball. Back to Dingmans, to Gott.
Middle edge, another good carry from King on debut. Secured the ball, just crept into the 22 now. Keep it going from the Royal Navy. Carry by Mills. Here's the ball for Dingmans again. Step from Gott.
Oh, good feet from Gott. He just needed a bit of support there.
Yeah, keep some momentum here and keep that front football going. French managing to slow it down every time, you see, which is making them start again every time.
But what we don't want is a break in play, obviously, because we have reached 40 minutes.
They've got the penalty.
They've got the penalty.
Decision point now for Jared Haler. Are we going to kick it?
Yes, of course. Kick
or
it.
Or are they going to take the scrum?
They're right in front of the posts, and sensible would say get the 3 points on the board. And I think he's gone for he's gone for 3 points. So, yeah.
And that's Will Ruggersford back on just before half-time, so they'll restart with a full complement after half-time.
I mean, that's, down to 14. That was a pretty good phase of play without Will Ruggersford.
I expect Jordan to pop this over to finish that sort of 10-minute card period with 3 all. And I think it's probably the best part of phase play that the Navy managed to string together this half. As I said earlier on, they'll be a little bit frustrated, I think, perhaps with how the middle section of that half went once teams had got into their work. Missed opportunities with the driving line-out at the 20-minute point. But then the last 5 or 6 minutes just managed to squeeze some phase play in there, get the pick-and-go game going a little bit, get some carries going, a few inside tips, some good yards. King's running well there at 12. Supported by his back row.
As you say, on his... well, King's actually... Oh, easy slot home there for Jordan Gott. So it is 3 points to the Royal Navy and 8 to Marine Nationale. And that is half-time, Tim Osman. I mean, you've given us some great commentary so far, and I kind of know what you're going to say, but do you want to give us a quick summation of that 40 minutes so far, or 42 minutes as it turned out to be?
Yeah, I think probably a combination, isn't it, of the French ambition. They're wanting to play wide. As I said, they've got some great speed out wide and some decent hands in the centre. And probably contrast that with a bit of frustration from the Navy team. They're not quite hitting the accuracy they might expect, or we've all come to expect from some of their tight play, the driving line out, and just struggling to try and get front foot ball. The French defence is good, their back row is good, and they're stopping the tackle. The time and tackle is creating slow ball for the Navy team. So I think Dave Pascal in there now be going, calm down, work on that composure and some patience, get to face play, and they got the just rewards there in the last 5 minutes of the half there. The French look dangerous, and I think the Navy want to probably go and kick-start a bit. As we said right at the top of the show, I guess there's a bit of power to come from the Navy bench as well, and that might make a telling impact as we get into the second half as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we pan out now, second half.
Yeah, I mean, it's 8-3. He did score that penalty, hasn't it? It hasn't actually gone up on the board, but it is
8-3,
advantage to Marine Nationale here at half-time at Havant Rugby Club. 8 points to the Navy's 3, just 1 penalty to their name. And yeah, the Dark Blues will have a lot to think about in the dressing room at half-time, but we're just going to take a short break here. We are going to be speaking to the captain of the Royal Navy Women, Rose Dixon, when we come back. But first of all, let's just see what's going on around the Forces world.
The British Army welcome their French counterparts to Aldershot for their annual showdown. Amongst their ranks, the returning ex-England international Simisel Ropendaguni, following his spell playing rugby across the Channel and now running out for Doncaster. The home side wasted little time before breaching the French defence. The quick feet of fullback Solo Radianarova saw him step his way to a converted try with just minutes on the clock. But the visitors hit back almost immediately. Having gained ground from the restart, the burly French forwards drove towards their hosts' try line. Quick ball and a couple of failed attempted tackles, and the French were in for an unconverted score. Keen to play at a high tempo, Army scrum half Mikey McDonald went on one of his trademark bursts. The ball was quickly sent along the line to the lurking Dylan Morris. In just his second start for his service, the speedy second row sprinted in for the Army's second converted try of the contest and put the men in red 14-5 up. By now, the Army were in the ascendancy and continued to work their way past would-be tacklers. And it was their fleet-footed line-out specialist who was catching the eye. Run, Morris, run! And he duly delivered under the posts for another converted try. With the French frustrated as they failed to break through the British barricade, they let their discipline slip. Unseen by the referee, it took the assistant referee to step in. A swinging French arm to the head of Army prop Nathaniel Titchard-Jones left the man in the middle, Tom Evans-Jones, No option but to send the culprit off for an early shower. The hosts were quick to make the most of their extra man early in the second half. Again, the ball made its way to the wing, where Imi Korowale was waiting. The former Newcastle player goose-stepped his way past his man before accelerating in for an unconverted try. With Army confidence sky high, they were prepared to run from deep inside their own half. Rugby offloaded a pass to Radiana Rover, who in turn found Connor O'Reilly. With the crowd on their feet, they saw Morris complete his hat-trick with the pick of his tries. Trailing 33 points to 5, the French suddenly sparked into life, as for once the home side defence was found wanting. Rather like the parting of the Red Sea, the visitors exploited the yawning gap for a converted try. Unfortunately for the French, that score was just a momentary flash in the pan, and normal service quickly resumed as the resurgent Reds added a sixth try. O'Reilly buffeted his way towards his opponent's line. The ball was recycled and Oni Nyagi crashed over from close range. This fixture slots in nicely for the Army ahead of the Inter-Services Championship, and hat-trick hero Morris was given pitch-side plaudits when he was replaced late on, with his hopes of now playing against the Navy and Air Force boosted by his performance. There was still time for the Army to power past a beleaguered French pack once more. Apeli Kotobalavu rumbling over the line for a converted try and help his side to a handsome 47 points to 12 victory.
Yeah, Dylan has been impressive, 5 and or 6 really, great engine. He did a really good job when he came on and started his first game against the Police back in January, and fully deserved his cap today and a start, and what a great asset he is with that engine he's got, and finished 3 great tries off. And then Rocco coming back in, which is great, back in the country now clearly after being on sojourn in France for a couple of years. I think it's the first cap since 2019, so his experience, the value he brings to the team, not just on game day clearly, but in the camps as well, is brilliant.
Earlier in the day, the British Army women eclipsed the French Army women in the first meeting between the teams. Having camped themselves close to the visitors' line, home side pressure eventually told, and French resistance was broken, and Millie Williams flopped in for a converted try. Caitlin Fraser impressed in her first capped appearance for the Army, scooting in at the corner. The winger did well to cling onto the ball before rounding the defence for an unconverted try. A third Army try early in the second half extended the home side's advantage. There was no stopping Manu Komatai as she bulldozed her way over for a 17-0 lead. The French hit back with 2 converted tries of their own, the first coming from close range. And a second score set up a tense final few minutes of the match. This time the visitors made the most of a tired Army defence, but the converted effort was the final score of the game.
Yeah, it's always good to beat the French. We usually play the French Navy, so to play the French Army for the first time is a fixture we hope we can keep and maintain. So yeah, it's always a good game against the French.
So double delight for the British Army as the women and men take the spoils and enjoy confidence-boosting victories with the Inter-Services Championship looming. Julian Evans, BFBS Forces News, Aldershot.
Well, it's half-time here, of course, in the men's match at Havant RFC. And earlier on, there was some disappointment for the Royal Navy women in defeat to Marine Nationale Feminine. And I'm joined now by the women's captain, Rose Dixon. Tough lines earlier, up against a strong opposition as well.
Yeah, it was a very difficult game, but we know it every year. They're an incredibly strong outfit, very well drilled. So we knew what we were coming up against, and unfortunately it didn't go our way today, but there's a lot to take away from that.
And as you say, with those takeaways, lots of debuts as well, new caps, moving forward to Inter-Services, very, very promising indeed.
Yeah, so we've got some incredible talent coming through, and that's credit to the development kind of side of the grassroots rugby. And yeah, 9 new caps a day, which, again, don't quote me, I think it's a record for us with caps. So just really excited to see them come through and grow and develop. And we've just got such a depth in players now that it just is a really exciting time for us.
And how is that preparation going for inter-services, which are upon us in just a few weeks?
Yeah, incredibly well. There is so much talent within the squad, and everyone's performing really, really well with training, and the competition for shirts is so fierce. So,
well, best of luck for that. And we're hearing the players just about to come back out onto the pitch for the second half of this men's match. So without further ado, it's back up to our commentary team, Kath Brazier and Lieutenant Colonel Tim Ousman.
Well, thank you, Si, and great to hear from Rose Dixon. She has made such a huge impact to the Royal Navy women's team, and continues to be the fulcrum on which they turn. So best of luck to them as they go into the inter-services year this year, and Royal Navy men, of course, who came so close last year but were beaten at the final post by the Army. And of course the man who coaches them is beside me, Tim Ousman. I said I wasn't going to mention it, but it's hard not to, really. But as you said quite rightly, Tim, it's a brand new season, and everyone's forgotten about last year. You can't rely, as we see from this game, which flips every year, you can't rely on what's gone before.
No, absolutely. It counts for very little, really, in the whole momentum of the big scheme of things. You know, I think both teams will be a little bit different, even if it's 1 or 2 players per team. It's a different squad, it's a different group, it's a different year. So, you know, you kind of start again and go forward from the foundations you've laid on the next season.
We mentioned Rocco coming back into the Army fold, and the reason there's a link with France, of course, is he was there for 3 years, and to be honest, went a bit AWOL. Dan Matavezi's there as well for the Navy at the moment as well. But it's what amazing opportunities, and would have brought so much back with them as well.
Yeah, it's obviously a great experience. And well worthwhile in many senses of the word. Yeah, I think it was 2 years. He had sabbatical from the Army technically to enable him to do that. And so he then came back into the Army fold last summer, signed for Doncaster, and has made his way back into the military setup willingly, and it's great to have him back on board.
Yeah, I mean, is he still the player he was? He's obviously towards the end of his career now, but has he still got the firepower that we remember him for?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's clearly been a professional athlete now in the rugby sense for many years, and that can only bring good things. There's a lot of guys learning from him, and he brings that real pedigree and professionalism into the squad, which is fantastic for us coaches. And
McDonald brothers as well. Do you have them available this year?
Mikey and Cameron are both in the squad. Yeah, they fresh from a campaign with Germany, playing against Jordan Gott actually in the European tiers, which is great, and they're back into play as well.
And the men in red tonight, of course, are the Marine Nationale up against Royal Navy in dark blue as the second half kicks off here at Havant Rugby Club, and the sun is going down, but luckily we've got some strong floodlights, good to see, and we can see the full game, and it should be an exciting 40 and hopefully a strong one for the Royal Navy, as we are not going to be unbiased here, but a few changes as well you've spotted.
Yeah, I think young Venus on the left wing has probably run his legs off, the poor fella, so he's been replaced I think by 22, which is Dorian Peluga. And I think I can see number 23 on. Normally that'd be an outside back, but he looks like he's got lifting blocks on. I'm just trying to see where he's gone. I can't quite see.
Is he at the back of the line out there?
That's him. Yeah, I think he might be coming on in the second row for Ethan Mio.
So that's Luca Badeau. Is that right?
That's right. Ethan Mio, I think, was the French number 4. I think is off.
Yep.
So yeah, Baudet is in there.
And any changes? I can't see any changes yet for the Royal Navy.
No, I didn't spot any as they came through. The ample crowd here at Havant. It's really well supported, isn't it, tonight?
It's really well supported, and we've got them on all sides. It's one of those pitches that's got this white picket fence all the way around, and actually there's not a lot of space if you look around. So we had a really good turnout for the women's game, and that has increased for the men's game. And I know there's a lot of just Havant Rugby Club members here who are come down to see some good rugby, which is great.
Yeah, it's a great spot to play here. The 365 pitch through the RFU has been here for at least 5 years. I would say probably a bit longer actually. And it's a great setup. Havant are doing pretty well in their campaigns over the last couple of years in the national leagues. Struggled a little bit this year, but I think they should be safe if we see them next couple of weekends.
It's interesting when we know that there's been talk about, you know, the grassroots of rugby in England suffering a little bit. And it's so great when you come to a club like this. It's a Wednesday night, and, you know, it's pretty much a full house.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the league programs have been a bit off and on over the last couple of months since Christmas, really. As I mentioned earlier on, the Premiership Cup, a gap between Six Nations and for the Championship clubs as well. And a bit of a void in the calendar for the top few tiers of national rugby in England. And so when you get an opportunity, especially in a well-supported town like Portsmouth, for them to come and support the Navy, then why wouldn't you do it? It's a great game.
And obviously there's a few Army moles, you've told us, amongst that crowd as well, which is good to see.
I just come and support their fellow UCAF members.
Of course they have. No, I do know how strong that UCAF...
Another scrum penalty, the loose head on this side.
So another...
Benjamin Garrolier has been punished by Dom Cleverley, I think. Couldn't keep his binding.
So Dom Cleverley playing a key role then at scrum time.
Yeah, the Chester prop has done a good job. I think Bezo would have taken the credit for one of the early ones, and that's enabled the Navy to exit their half. Decent start from the second half, just building slowly, hopefully, give them a bit of confidence to then take on board the words from Dave Pascoe and his coaching team, Andy Vance, John Court, Ben Priddy, and try and put that into place now in the second half and improve on what they did in the first.
Rhys Williams then with the line-out throw for Royal Navy, and they've gone long. Great take. Rigglesford takes that, but it's knocked on, unfortunately, by the fingertips.
Yeah, great
one
take
of those
by Ben
50-50.
Mallett, but came down from a long way up and just at the feet of Will Rigglesford. Couldn't take it cleanly. And so a knock-on reverse. All is not lost. As we said, the scrum pressure from the Navy pack has been pretty awesome so far onto this French pack. They'll be looking to exert it again.
Rigglesford, he'll be, you know, having had the time off as well, and yeah, he'll be feeling that. But as all rugby players know, you know, you've got to move on. The minute something like that happens, you've just got to get your head back up again.
Yeah, 50-50 for him. Next job for him. It was a tough pickup. Yeah, Ben Mallett may not be overly happy with delivery either, or the spacing and timing wasn't quite right. But there in again. This scrum's getting tasty now. Actually, another Navy penalty there, but they've got away with it, the French.
And it's that man again, Vaccaro, I think.
Yeah, managed to squeeze out the side there, didn't it? And the French managed to get out of a bit more punishment from the Navy front row. They're trying to get the ball in and out to avoid that pressure.
Yeah, there's definitely some zest with them when the French have got the ball. But Navy defence is strong. Oh, lovely hold there from the Navy boys.
Yeah, Mallett and Cleverley together. Great chop and stop. Beasley this time in with the hit as well. Hoffman again. The French carrying with some force here. The Navy defence is strong.
Get the ball out. It's so Navy, the Marine Nationale still in possession. They, of course, as a reminder, are 8 points up, a try and a penalty.
Yeah, they're going side to side though a little bit.
Yes, there's not a lot of forward movement, is there?
No,
which is
Navy defence.
Yes, credit.
Standing firm. Creep forward perhaps 5 yards in. That's a better carry now down the right edge. On his seam, I think.
Yes.
Bit of a forward roll. The ball's presented back again. They'll hit with the big runners up again. Vaccaro.
He'll be wanting to remedy things, having just missed out on a try in the first half. So
another great shot from Beasley, and they win the penalty.
Great, well done, Royal Navy. Well worked.
They shall not pass from Beasley.
And it's that man Vaccaro again, making such a difference.
A great hit from the loose head. And managed to force the turnover penalty. A good defensive set there. French going from side to side, managed to creep round that right edge with the right wing. A bit of space got through for Onissim, but they weren't unable to maximise it.
Got into the crowd this time. That's a lovely kick. Great position from the Royal Navy.
Yeah, let's see where they go from here. The French quite like to attack from this position, didn't they, in the first half? The Navy going to kick long. Tuchot comes far onto the left-hand side at fullback. Right wing drops, shortened line out. Packed midfield from red defenders. Where are Wrigglesford and Gott going to go from here?
Rhys Williams just drying out the ball, so there must be a bit of moisture out there. Maybe it's just sweat from the players.
He's known for sweaty palms, actually, Rhys.
Oh, there you go. It'll be him. Oh, another great take from Makepeace. Flying in the air there. Haler. Good 10 metres made there by the Royal Navy.
Yeah, slow ball again, though, so it looks like Wrigglesford shaping to kick. Midfield
kick.
box, Hoffman up tight.
Oh, lovely take. He's going to call that, though.
Just
Too early.
mistimed it.
Yeah.
Just mistimed him before his second foot was down. Tackled in the air, so that's a penalty back for the French team.
That was unfortunate. It's difficult if you're going at that speed like Hoffman was to time it properly.
Yeah, just a yard too soon.
Great intent from the Royal Navy, but it's very back and forth at the minute, Tim.
Yeah, as we said in the first half, just a few little inaccuracies creeping in, just not really getting any flow. Now here comes the Orc squad. Dave Pascoe dropping anchor early. Rory Mitchell on in the back row for Chris Mills. Jack Wright on at hooker for Rhys Williams. Big Ben Watts on his birthday. Comes straight in for Dom Cleverley on the tight head. Ed Pascoe in for Dan McAdams in the second row. Tukes is on in the back row for Ben Mallet.
Great.
All the changes being run from
I love it. We've got the bomb squad into services of rugby.
But that's the skipper, the French skipper going through the seam at the back of the line out there. Great carry.
Yes, bomb squad yet to make an impact. What did he call it? The Orcs? The Orcs rather than the bomb squad.
Well, they called it. Not, I don't want to get the blame for that.
Well, no, but I'd rather not say bomb squad because that's
I'm not popular at the best of times.
So Marine Nationale taking advantage of a quick drop in play, but Navy have been great at turnover in this match.
Yeah, it's a good stop there from AJ King, and he's making a nuisance stuff in that ruck. It's been very effective at 12.
Louis Finch. First time we've been able to say his name with a good carry there for the French.
You're picking on the easy ones. An
yes,
interception
great
from Duncan.
Lovely. Those long limbs.
You got well to get in the passing channel there. Just nipped that off as that pass went out to the right French wing.
Right, they need to take advantage of this, the Royal Navy.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the advantages, I guess, sometimes where you have those sweeping changes and some real quality coming on as well. But equally, it can add to a lack of cohesion as well. Offside by the French backline there. The ref's giving it. Free ball.
Okay, so that's
taking the 9 as well. That's not allowed. A classic French loose head Garouel again.
I feel like Will's being picked on quite a lot here, but that position allows it, doesn't it, the scrum half?
Well, I saw Jared talking to the referee earlier on in the first half when that happened. You're not allowed to take the 9 out with the ball. If he's lifted it and playing away, though, the referee might argue that that's fair game.
Oh.
That's really well played by the right wing.
Very smooth from the French.
The kick just creeping over the line, but they managed to turn it over again. That's another penalty to the Royal Navy.
Great position for the Royal Navy as well.
Yeah, kick it right onto the 22 and the touchline. I think the French right wing out there did a good job. That's Arthur again.
It was flair, but I don't know that it was the right thing to do.
Caused a bit more pressure on his teammates as the ball came in the field.
There wasn't really anyone around to help. So
I think the retreating French pack were therefore in front of the kicker, in front of the winger rather. So therefore is offside, and Jordan Gott kicks him into the 22 now for an attacking line-out. Time for the Navy to turn up, I think, here and execute.
This is it. I'm glad they can't hear us, Tim, because I think this is the moment. So Jack Wright with his first line-out ball since coming on. Oh, missed by Hader, unfortunately, and taken by the French. And that'll be a foot fight.
Yeah, Dingmans comes back, an overthrow from Jack Wright, I think, on that lift to his skipper. Slightly sliced exit, and that's a great 60-yard gain from the French. That will get their tails up a little bit.
They're just so quick when the ball turns over like that. They're just that. I mean, he sort of punted for not for a laugh, obviously, but he punted for luck. He didn't really know where it was going, and it worked out well for them.
They're great on the chase, aren't they? They're pretty quick, these French backs.
Yeah.
It's always easy to be quick when the ball's put in front of you, and that's where the Navy has struggled a little bit. The French are managing to slow their ball down. Their time in tackle has been good. The ball presented to Will Wrigglesford has not been overly quick, and Jordan Gott has not had a lot of ball to play with.
That's
a really wonky one.
I don't know if that's the wind. Yes.
No, it's not the wind.
Okay. We've got some French chanting here down in Havant, so...
that's Rory Dingman's away, I think.
Oh, great tackle, but Dingman's away. That's speed. Wrigglesford then to make peace.
Yeah, another good tackle, but they're into the face play. A great thrust off that wonky line out from Vakalik Takali, and that gave the Navy some front foot ball, exploited by Dingman's up the left edge, I think.
Okay. We don't want to see any of this, gents. We do not want to see any of this.
It's taken 53 minutes.
Unfortunately, this fixture has been marred by this in the past. I do understand that emotions get high, but Bubba Watson right in there. Did you say it was his birthday today?
Yeah, it's 30th, I think. He doesn't look a day over 29.
Well, you can't be mean to people on their birthday. It's 7 years bad luck. So
well, no one can be mean to Bubba. He's a lovely guy. 142 kilos, 6'9".
Okay, so the handbags are over.
Yeah, it's not been that kind of game at all, is it, actually?
No, not at all. I haven't felt that at all. Bubba will look probably 12 to me for the rest of his life. He's got such a young baby face in a way.
Cherub, angelic.
He'll hate me for saying that, but...
He's been called worse, don't worry.
Okay.
Many happy returns to Big Bubba. He's had a busy year, lots of deployments.
Okay. As is the way with life in the military, of course.
Yeah.
So... Haler currently with the ball, passes it off to Gott, and what's he going to do with it?
I think it's just referee Kai checking with his assistants as to anything untoward that may or may not have happened. I imagine he'll talk to both skippers now, or perhaps any offending players.
So yeah, both captains in for a chat. Jared Haler and Flavio Yanazou for the French.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have ref Mike, so...
I've seen Ian referee a number of times in France, and he is probably saying his usual quote.
Which is?
Something along the lines of, no more funny business. I think his card's come out of his pocket, though.
Oh,
another carton jaune. Somebody's been pointed out. Who's that gone to?
It's not... I mean, it... Yeah, he's having to re-explain to Yanazou what that's for. But that is...
Is it the 15? Is it
yes.
show?
Yeah, it's 15. He's gone off. So one apiece then, yellow card for both sides, and the Royal Navy did really well when they went down to 14 men, and now they've got the man advantage, so let's see what they can do with it.
Yeah, I think the signal from the referee might have been for a shoulder charge there, which might have been before or after the ball, or caused the...
Does that mean anything? He was doing that?
Yeah, caused the...
Just for people,
fracas.
Just people who can't see the commentary team, I was enacting what the referee was doing to see if Tim could translate.
It was hard to tell what you were doing, to be honest. Now, can they make it amends of this? I mean, it won't necessarily affect the drive, but one less in the backfield will be helpful.
And they've come out the front there and fallen over themselves. But still Navy ball, and they are just meters away, and this is what they do so well.
Here we go. Can this fresh impetus make amends? It looks like they're over, surely.
Poles in the way. The referee's arm
held
still...
up again. One more surge, perhaps. Referee's right there. They're on the line.
It must be down. No,
good defence again around the fringes on the left-hand side. King watching over.
Third attempt. Ball still not over.
Toots on the ball. Ball gone backwards through his legs. Scott Makepeace has got it. Wrestled to the floor.
Great defence from Marine Nationale. Absolutely fantastic.
And it goes again.
And it's over. Woo! Score for the Royal Navy. Just what they needed.
And it's Rory Mitchell.
And he's just come on, Rory Mitchell. Brilliant score. But that was an everyone try. I mean, I think
absolutely. They really needed that.
Yeah.
And Dave Pascoe will be delighted, I'm sure, with the impact these replacements have made there. Rory Mitchell, Marine Corporal, very abrasive at the best of times, and this is the kind of game he'll relish there, rolling his sleeves up, a little bit fractious, and he can make a real difference in those hard yard areas. Set up by his pack mates there, and he got over for a good score. He'll be delighted.
Ben Chambers, best looking water boy ever. I didn't say that by the way, that was a comment on YouTube.
He doesn't need to be carrying water to be the best looking anything as Chambo.
Jordan got then to go for the extra 2, which would put them in the lead for the first time, the Royal Navy. It's 8-all as it stands, and a try and a penalty to each side. Jordan got with the extra 2, and the Royal Navy are ahead, 10-8.
Yeah, excellent response from Dave's team there over the first 15 minutes of the second half. As those changes we mentioned, bit of impact, and he managed to get a little bit of a foothold into the second half. I expect a response from the French, though, albeit they're down 10 men, but they've got some changes to make too.
The French looked a bit in disbelief on the try line then when the Royal Navy finally got over, but they showed some incredible defence. But the Royal Navy, that is what they do best, and they were always going to score there, I think. So a couple more changes then for the French as well.
Yeah, I think the hooker's gone off, and I think the loose head as well. Jeremy Pichon's on, number 17. As is Michael, is it Verigo?
Reverigo, yes.
Reverigo.
I don't know that for sure, but...
Reverigo, yeah, Spanish-sounding name for the replacement hooker, number 16.
Oh, great take. But dropped, unfortunately, by Henry Glidden.
Yeah, good chase there by the French onto that deep left kickoff, and they managed to force a turnover into the Navy 22. It's all livened up, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. When I remember about half an hour ago, I said we were in the quagmire. This is the opposite of that now. You know, the treacle has lifted, and they are playing some free-flowing rugby, so bring it on.
Yeah, we've even got number 24 on, which I don't think we've got listed, so...
Are they bringing an extra player?
Anybody tell us who number 24 is, that'd be good. Où est Monsieur 24? Not oui.
So, yes, the French will be rejuvenated, re-energised now that they are behind.
Yeah, great carry by Troyer there. Up the left.
Vaccaro again.
Back up the centre from our man Vaccaro.
Taking 4 people with him.
Yeah, the French coming back with hostility, aren't they? Yard from the line now. And is he over?
No, he's
the French are cheering. Nothing from referee Kai.
No, he hasn't said anything.
Has he? He's awarded the try, has he?
He must have done, because the French coming back, so that's a try for the French.
Quite an immediate response from the French. Great pressure on that kickoff.
I thought he didn't get into the post, but yes, he got just left of the post. Just left of the left post.
Managed to sneak around it. It's often a good defender, that post pad. They're so big these days.
Yeah.
Great pressure from that restart from the French. A good carry up the left by Troyer. Back infield to his vice skipper, Luca Vaccaro. And over they go under the sticks.
Mio then with an easy 2-pointer to put the French back in the lead, and it is yes, it is definitely end-to-end stuff, as they say, but also has seesawed between both sides, and it's now the French, the Marine Nationale in front, 15 points to the Royal Navy's 10.
Probably a good 25 to go though. Everybody's into the game now. I don't know what they had for drinks at half time, but it's worked.
Maybe they had some Weetabix.
The caffeine's kicked in.
Oh yeah, it'd be very French to have coffee at half-time, I think. Yeah, interception there by
broken out
Mitchell again.
Good turnover.
Oh, he's made an impact, hasn't he? So, calm heads to the Royal Navy. Oh, yeah. Brilliant from Makepeace, good carry.
Managed to avoid that tackle and sneak through again. In from the side. Oh, referee. Got himself in a good position.
Toots with the ball on the ground, but French win the ball.
I'll have a look at that again. Number 24, the man with no name. You shoot down the left here. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one, Ian.
Back or side? One leg was on the side.
One leg on, yeah. But they're pushing it across the back foot, I'd say. Certainly want to review that offside stops you playing with that line speed, and stealing a foot here or there can really make it difficult.
French put in.
Another lost line out.
Interrupted Bubba Watson with the ball.
Bubba's got it.
Another line out win, Toots. Didn't really make any mileage there, but yeah, French defence is very immediate.
It's just
so Royal Navy ball. I think it was a knock-on by Marine Nationale.
I think Jack Wright just carrying around stripped. He's gone back for the first knock-on after Ben Watson's intervention.
Okay.
Let's see how these rapidly changed packs now enjoy the scrummage. It was certainly going in the Navy's favour in the first half. They'll be wanting to keep on exploiting that and to build back into the second half. A quarter of the match to go, and the Navy need to get back into the French red zone to score. 5 points down.
Our man Vaccaro just shaking hands at Royal Navy and the referee, so he's doing his best to win as many penalties as he can.
Hearts and minds.
Oh yeah, definitely winning hearts and minds. So Wrigglesford then with a put in.
It's another great scrum, another penalty for the Navy pack. Offside again by the French backs, not picked up.
Difficult ball there for
Henry Glidden on the charge. Not quite round his opponent.
Made a lot of ground though.
Causing a nuisance at the ruck there, the French.
So he's taking it back.
He's gone back to the scrum pen. Interestingly, as the Navy pack went forward, you would want the French back line to move backwards, and that wasn't happening either.
Right.
Hence, when they played off the free ball, the Navy backs had their French counterparts on top of them, and not 10 yards back as they would be on either side of the scrum.
So many rules. Well, they're laws, aren't they?
Yes.
Laws in rugby.
Yeah. And anybody knows me.
Knows you know the rules.
No, knows I think I know the laws. And I'm occasionally partial to commentary. But I'm a qualified ref. I did the course. Rebecca Pidlington and Martin Bentley took me on the referee's course.
Amazing.
Not to help me referee necessarily, but help me to understand a bit better and become...
and stop having a go at them, probably.
Well, maybe from a point of... if not experience, knowledge, but...
I think if you're a coach, you've got to
have that exactly
knowledge.
that. It helps understand the game better. And,
because you can also bend the rules.
No, I think you can learn to understand where they can be exploited. And
that's what I mean, I think, in the nicest possible way. Like the All Blacks and Ireland have done so well over the years.
On occasions.
And got known for it. Wrigglesford then out. Oh, lovely ball to Gott, but it's lovely taken. That man Mitchell
It was
made
knocked
such a...
on. It was knocked on, sadly. They are causing havoc.
It looked good.
I think you can hear a bit of unrest in the crowd as well, and the players. A lot of shrugging going on from the British players and the Royal Navy, not the French shrug, about some of the pressure their back lines are putting on them.
There is a lot of French support here, which is good to see. And like I said, we had a chant a few minutes ago. And obviously the women have all stayed to watch their respective men's sides.
Can the French pack manage to avoid another scrum pen?
Baptiste Falcati for the French.
Great drive again. And Vaccaro picks it off the back. To prevent that ball getting lost in there.
He has not been allowed to travel as far as he has already, so they've got his number. Oh, lovely.
Good shot.
Lovely double tackle there. That's not going to work, I don't think. No.
Yeah, that chip through bobbled. Hoffman regathered. Maybe got the ball back. And Wigglesford sees the hole behind. Great kick from Will Wigglesford.
Doesn't quite bounce.
Doesn't get the bounce off the 4G surface. And Duchot sends it downtown back to Wigglesford, covering well.
Obviously.
Dingman's for a run. Good tackle from the 15 on 15.
And he's back after his sin bin as well.
Jordan got having a dance.
In his pink boots.
Well contained. Jack Wright feeds the makepeace up to the left-hand side now, into the 5 channel. Navy just reorganising now, a couple of phases now, got the ball back. Where are they going to go?
It's Rory Mitchell again.
That man Mitchell again. Well played, Rory. He's carrying well, isn't he? He's getting involved.
Yes, he seems to be at the centre of all the action.
Set for another box kick from Wigglesworth. Goes high. Chased through by King and Duncan.
Oh, lovely take. Wow.
Guess who?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, Vakar, I think.
He could do everything. He's got some wheels on him, that lad.
Got some edge here, the French.
Oh, lovely ball out here. It's got some wheels as well on here on the left side. Great defence by Dingmans. Working with...
Yeah, Palaga up onto Biat.
Yeah.
The French outside centre supporting well from the left wing. Shot up outside his man. Keeping their width well, the French back line. And they've had a lot of gain down that left-hand wing all game.
And it's Dorian Palagat. Wow, I think that's the fastest I've seen. I thought, you know, their left wing from the first serve was fast.
Yeah, it'd be a good foot race, those two boys.
Yeah.
But the Navy have got the ball. Their line out, they're back in the 22. They've not really been able to establish field position and possession throughout the game at the same time. They're playing from a long way out. More changes. I think that's Wigglesworth off, so it's going to be Dan Rutter on at 9. Jake Haney's off for Jordan Gott, so that's ringing the changes at half-back from Dave Pascoe. 9 and 10 off. Rutter and Hanley, both experienced guys, both UCAF capped. Their chance to run the show for the last quarter of an hour.
Yeah, it's like fresh legs, but also fresh minds. They're not carrying the weight of the rest of the game, and just pretend it's 0-0. Just go from there. As the French steal the line out.
Makepeace went and got the ball, but it was snaffled by the replacement prop. Goes in again for some afters. They're getting frustrated.
Yes.
Probably rightly so, I think, the Navy pack here.
But they can only really be frustrated themselves, you know. It's not, you know, the French aren't, it's not like they're playing illegally or anything.
It wouldn't be the first prop to mix it up from the French side. That's Pichon there coming through. They're disrupting the line out very well, in contrast to their scrum woes.
And the line out was going so well in the first half. It's obviously getting to them. Jack Wright then with another chance. And that's taken cleanly.
Ed Pascoe this time. Into Rutter. Good footballer, Rutter. Play a number of positions. In at 9 this evening. Can play 10, can play 12. Great boot.
Gerald Haler again leading his side. So the ball right in front of us, Tim.
Up to the 10-yard line, yeah, not great distance. Can they disrupt the French line out?
Does the way that French game at the moment is, pretty much #1 in the world, and does that filter down to the side, the military side? Do you think is that why we're seeing such an I say improvement, but
well, they've always been known for their flair, haven't they? The French,
yeah.
They do like to play. They can be hot and cold, as mentioned earlier
wheels
on.
And that. Oh, Dingmans. He's taking it. It's fine.
Massively high.
Was a knock on it.
Massively high bomb. He spilled it.
I felt that went backwards, but
I'm not sure the French will want to scrum there. Let's see. Key timing, you'd think, for the French here to try and execute a play in the red zone for the Navy, and likewise, this new Navy pack now try and force an error, perhaps gain that penalty. More changes.
So we're 68 minutes gone here. It's just
change at the blindside flank for the French.
12.
One for Tam Lindsay,
Is that all the...
Jack Wright and Bubba Watson to attack.
Yeah, so that's all the subs on now, isn't it? All the replacements. And the French have good position for the final 11 minutes of this game here at Havant Rugby Club.
Vacro picking up again under immense pressure from the 5 in front of him, and managed to retain possession. Now the French need to play short and delve deeper into the Royal Navy 22.
Nick Bartlett says, disappointing to concede straight after scoring. Hang in there and build some momentum, boys, and back the corners, use the driving line-outs and dominate the scrums. Some advice on YouTube there.
Yeah, good old Nick. He knows his rugby.
He does.
Former Navy combined services prop as it was in those days.
Oh, great. Oh.
Quick from the French to nobody. A let-off again for the Navy. Last 10 minutes.
They've used that wing so well. The French Navy, the Marine Nationale. So Jack Wright with another chance, but it is tight down that end.
Yeah, they're buried a long way down from French territory, though, aren't they?
And it's just I know it's not over yet. It's 15-10, or 10-15, as I should say, Royal Navy to Marine Nationale. So it's not over yet, far from it. 10 minutes is a long time in rugby.
Absolutely. Pascoe secures at the front. A nudge on. Jack Wright
goes himself.
carrying out. Rutter on his right side. He's want to stay in. He's well played by Jack Wright. Rutter back in to Rory Mitchell. Onto his skipper. Maybe trying to play their way out. Ball slowed down again, though, look.
Yeah.
Rutter to exit. Keeps it in this time. Up to halfway. Bounces in front of
Oh,
Vaccaro.
bounces well.
They retain off the magic bounce.
Great.
Onto Jack Wright.
That was good from a hooker.
Where did he come from?
Toots then.
Toots up to the line.
So strong in that
Quicker
centre
ball
position.
for Rutter.
This is more like it from the Navy.
To King, steps and goes. A little bit of shape there from the Navy. Ball's coming through a little bit quicker at ruck time. Step from Dingemans, good D. Somebody's down with cramp in the middle, is that King? Show and go from Rutter, nowhere to go. Step in from Dingemans.
We're going to need him as well.
On to Mitchell, sweeping a lot of stuff up there. Rory Mitchell. Just come around the side, surely. Ball's available. Bubba trucks it with Toots.
Double trouble. Oh, kick forward. Is that Duncan on it?
That was a kick over. Bounces awkwardly. But to show sends it long. Good clearance from the fullback. He's rangy. And he gets it into the Navy 10-yard line.
I mean, that could have worked if Duncan had, if it hadn't swirled a bit. Could have worked nicely, but I think that was a bit of a kick for hope more than anything.
Back to the ball speed again. They're getting a couple of front foot phases and playing around a little bit. Then just struggled again. And the kick to exit over into the French 22 was giving possession away, and the French were able to clear their lines well.
So Jack Wright again for the Royal Navy. And that's nicely taken, and Toots.
King inside to Toots. Ball away. Pascoe tips. Mitchell does well together. Looked like he was going to knock it on, but he's managed to retain possession.
Caught it with his fingertips.
Taylor out the back to Hanley.
Again.
Toots getting a lot on the ball as well, as is Mitchell, isn't there?
It's good, fresh legs.
Trying to carry hard, just trying to find that little gap. Jared well stopped again. Red line holding firm. Hanley to Pascoe.
Need a bit of energy and drive on these passes.
Hanley goes high. Wynn holds up again.
Oh, unlucky from French pick it up.
Knocked on by Glidden, and Duchot's away.
Oh. messy.
It's that wind again, you know, Kath. I think you can see them just trying to exit and they can't get out. And that ball's being slowed down in that tackle area. And you see, Jake Hanley's high ball there. It's obviously getting a bit more gusty. Went above the height of the stands and just stopped, didn't it?
It did. It went back and was back again.
And Henry Glidden almost impossible for him to try and gather. And again, the French come.
And we're back to where we started about 5 minutes ago. Except it would be a French put-in, obviously.
French line out.
French line out this time, and they are...
A few injuries, funnily enough, creeping into the French now. A bit of time being taken out of the game. Tantalisingly
close to that try line. Duchamp.
Time is off.
Okay. We've got 6 minutes left on the clock. Yeah, I just feel like the French quick ball is a little bit quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. As I
it's
said,
not like they've got the wind with them. It's difficult for both sides.
No, but they're slowing the ball down very well in that tackle area. The Navy found it difficult. The Royal Navy found it difficult to get any penetration through that strong red defensive line. And when they've got the ball back again, the French have been able to turn them quite quickly and put them under pressure with this wind coming now behind them by the looks of it.
There's a little bit of shrugging from the Royal Navy players, but I'm sure they haven't run out of ideas as the French will try and do what the Navy did to them. And the ball's at the back at the moment, but they're going sideways.
I think the Royal Navy have turned it over.
Yep. I think the French have turned it over again.
Man Pascal, I think, with the steal, but
the French have the ball.
French have got it again.
It's scrappy, but it's
right
effective.
On the line. Lindsay on the line with the stop out to the right-hand post.
It's still French ball, and this is that's over, but is it down?
They're wanting to hold him up.
No, the ref.
No, he's double movement. That's a penalty to the Royal Navy. It's probably about the best outcome they could have had there.
Yes.
Double movement by the French player as he tried to score.
Which is inevitable, really, when you're next to a post, but...
a few complaints from the French prop.
Well...
A chance for the Navy to escape here. I don't know how far they'll be able to get in this wind. They've got 5 to go.
I know, they have tried to play it to hand, haven't they, but... OK.
Good clearance.
Good clearance, exactly. As we creep into the final 3 minutes here at Havant Rugby Club, and the French Marine Nationale still lead 15-10. The Royal Navy would be doubly disappointed with a loss, but a loss at home as well. But we still have 3-4 minutes here on the clock.
Penalty again. They can creep up the offside finally against the French up that short side. Jake Hanley have another chance to creep up that left-hand touchline for the Navy.
They just haven't had any threatening runs. I mean, obviously they scored the pushover try, which is classic Royal Navy, but they haven't had any threatening runs that would worry the French at all.
Well, it comes back to that ball speed. I mean, what we don't know about the Navy being in camp for a long time now, and Dave will be preparing and loading his team up for their first Intersenses challenge on the 21st, I think it is, against the Royal Navy.
It's the 19th.
19th, sorry, excuse me. Yeah, I'll go away on the 21st. That's
it's all about your holidays, too.
No, it's not holidays, it's training camp.
Okay,
but, yeah, we don't know what's in the Navy's legs. They could have easily been through a pretty intensive block the last few weeks. It's not an excuse, but it's a factor. They could be very heavy-legged as they try and peak for 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
That's not to say they are not wanting to beat the French. Absolutely, they are. Of course they are, and indeed they want to try and, more importantly, refine their performance. But it's been a little bit off at times. They're retaining well at the moment.
This is great.
He says, commentator's curse. Another penalty. Finally, they're all coming through. It's been like it for a while, I have to say. My frustration with the crowd is, I think it's pretty worthwhile. He's taken them back again. Creeping offside from the line out, the French back line.
Well, it works in the favour of Royal Navy. But they need to make it. They need to make it, you know, make it worth it.
3 penalties in a row now. Saved us up for a grandstand finish as Jake Hanley try and kick his team to the corner. And they get there.
Lovely
kick.
Lovely kick.
Lovely kick. Takes us, I think, to about 10 metres out.
No problems with a win there from Hanley.
Yeah, halfway through the 22, 10 metres out. Time for Royal Navy pack to execute.
Right, so a Royal Navy line out at the right end of the field for them this time.
Seems like it's been a while, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Jack Wright then, cleanly taken by Makepeace there in the second row. And they'll just go for the push.
Set for a drive. Infield, that's a red collapse. That's a penalty again. Should probably be near a warning or a card. That's 4 in a row in 2 minutes. Hoffman gathers and managed to stay on his feet. Let's see those boxes fast feet.
He's going to go for a run for it. He's going to take it himself.
It's a strong boy. Half South African, half Irish, I think.
Wow. That's a pedigree.
Absolutely is in rugby terms, isn't it? Good carry, but he couldn't quite make way. Line collapsed. I can't see if referee Kai's warning, but he's going to go to the corner again.
It's the right intent.
They'll try and get a couple of yards closer, get to that 5, Jake.
Yep, pretty much the
Spot
same.
on.
Yep.
Spot on, 5 yards closer. Anything now in terms of discretion, either the clock is almost dead by the French, will surely be penalised.
Well, I did not
predict
this exciting finish for the Royal Navy, but they've literally got the one chance, Tim. Jack Wright then again to Makepeace. And they'll go for another drive.
They're set. Crab infield. Surely they can get this over. Try.
It's down! It's down! The Royal Navy have scored!
Kick to come. 15 all.
They do what they do best, and they've given us an absolute cracker of a finish here, Tim.
I can't see who comes up with it. Who's come up with the ball there?
I can't see on here either.
My money would be on Jack Wright. I think
he's at the back. Jack Wright's at the back. Did Makepeace keep hold of it?
I'm not sure if Bubba's getting the congratulations. Might be Bubba
Watson.
Might
be a birthday try for Bubba Watson.
From the big man.
Well, that would be a good story. And got off, so it is Jake Hanley who will handle this very crucial.
Hanley with a kick.
And final moments of the game, Jake Hanley has never faced probably a more important kick than this one.
Now, is that clock running to the referee's clock? Have we got time for a restart? The Navy are walking back.
It's 80 on BFBS. Jake Hanley then.
He's hit the post, would you believe it?
The post. The wind has not been kind. It is 15 all. And Jake Hanley, it was creeping over.
We were looking right down the barrel, weren't we, on that kick? It was in, it was out, it was in, it struck the upright. 15 all.
This is too much now with the French.
Time for a restart.
Nationale get a restart. So
concentration required now.
Neither clock is right. The ref.
The French downwind. Kick goes high onto the 22. They've missed it.
No.
And he's in. 13.
Oh, wow.
Gail Liat.
The French
an error from the kickoff receipt. The ball bounced on the 22 and the 13 outside centre. Gail Liat strolls in.
That's heartbreaking.
The game try. What an error.
That's heartbreaking. Royal Navy completely misread where that was going.
The wind again, and that composure having fought back so valiantly in the last 10 minutes of that half. Is there time to restart again?
I don't think I can take anymore.
This game going to keep going.
I can't take anymore. Oh, the Navy. Oh. I mean, we talk about French flair, and
the French are
there we
celebrating.
have it.
That could be time.
The ref hasn't. No, he said no. But obviously they're going to.
He needs a tee.
They need to take
he needs a tee if he's going to kick it.
They need to take the. So it's 20 points to 15. Marine Nationale absolutely lighting a fire here at Havant RFC. And Duchamp, who's been such a crucial player throughout this 80 minutes.
Yeah, I think He's won a stupid amount of games. I think this could be his 8th victory in the last 11 or 12 games, I think, for the fullback fly half. Mathieu Duchot. Chance to kick again. His boot won the game last year. And he's secured 2 more to finish the game this year.
So 22-15, the Royal Navy have lost here on home soil against Marine Nationale, and I think, oh, that's so devastating. And our clocks all said 80. Jake Hamley missed a conversion, but in the end it didn't make any difference because a mistake at the restart. And I mean, you know, all that, it sounds simple, all the Navy had to do was hold the ball, get the ball in the first place, and they completely misread it.
Didn't manage to lay a finger on it. That wind swelling again. The catch and lift was mistimed, I think, by Ed Pascoe's pod, and yeah.
I mean, I didn't know if that looked like
Liat was able to sneak through.
Yeah, I do think the French have played with a little more energy and dynamism than perhaps the Royal Navy. And like you say, Dave Pascoe may have, you know, they may be in a period of training where, you know, they're not quite there yet because they want to peak for the inter-services.
Not conducive to the full match sharpness, perhaps, as you'd expect. But I think they'll be frustrated. They couldn't quite get their execution correct. They fought back really, really well that second half. Some good impact off the bench, certainly. The scrummage was great all night and put the French under a lot of pressure. They'll be frustrated, I think, with some of their rewards from the French backline creeping offside a fair amount, not really given the penalty count they might have expected on that. But yeah, so near, so far. They did really well to fight back. They had a really good pass to play the last 10 minutes, and then one error on that kickoff receipt, and yeah, the French take it.
Yeah, it's so disappointing as well, and I know that it will be so disappointing for them on home soil because, like we said at the beginning of the game, it's flipped so much in the last few years, but it's always been home advantage always take it. The last game that the Royal Navy won was 30 points to 13 in Plymouth in 2023. I know it doesn't. It's a cap, and it doesn't count towards inter-services or anything like that, but it will be a different starting point to come from.
Yeah, again, cliche perhaps, but you often get some of your best work-ons and improvements for development when you do suffer defeats, because evidently there's a bit more to take away from it. They'll be frustrated, as I said. The inaccuracies in their execution will be frustrating, and they'll know, I'm sure, pretty quickly how they can remedy that before they take on the Royal Air Force in a couple of weeks' time. The French brought some challenge, as you say. Their flair and pace out wide was very good. They found the edge very well, and that man, Luca Vaccaro, at number 8, was an absolute truck going forward, and a stopping machine in defence as well. They found it very hard to get any quick ball off that French back row.
Yeah.
And yeah, and their back line gave them the rewards for their hard work up front.
Yeah, very deserving, and Vaccaro, I think you just mentioned him then, made a huge impact. I mean, our subs, Royal Navy subs made a huge impact as well, and we'll be hearing from the Royal Navy team in a moment, but we're witnessing a little French party tonight, and of course it's a double win because the women won 53-5 earlier against the Royal Navy side, and the men in red here are really soaking it up.
Imagine getting stuck on that ferry back to Saint-Malo, wherever they're going.
Are they returning tonight?
I don't know. Let's hope school trips going away for East holidays are maybe not sharing a double French Brittany ferries.
So this is the Icelandic clap, of course, that we've witnessed, I think, at Football World Cup.
Right, yeah. I'm sure it's got a name. I can't recall.
It's Icelandic clap, yeah. I think.
Is that what it's called? It's called the Icelandic clap?
I think the Iceland team came up with it, I think.
What, the clap from Iceland, and it's called the Icelandic clap? Surely they've come up with a better name than that.
Well, yes.
Maybe we'll see a
clap
Poznan
has many
soon.
connotations, obviously, but...
I've never been to Iceland.
Don't go. You might get a clap. Yes, the Icelandic clap, the French have adopted it, and they are celebrating with their fans, of which there are many here.
Yeah, they've got great support, haven't they, tonight? They've certainly made themselves known.
Oh, there's the French flag being flown on the south coast here, and a very,
They look very dapper as well, don't they? It's a bit like the entrance to the Olympic Games. The French, their red trousers, pantalon rouge, chemise blanche. blanche, is it a feminine word? And yeah, and red, white and blue outfits. The tricolor floating around, and yeah, very jubilant men's and women's French teams.
Yeah, it's good to see. I mean, everyone says is rugby winner, but the rugby is the winner, but Royal Navy just in huddle at the moment, and I'm sure discussing the ins and outs of that game. And you know, again, I know we're here as a build-up for the inter-services, but for them this is a really important game, and it's difficult. Well, yeah, difficult to wonder how they're feeling, I suppose, but important they have this huddle and kind of discuss with each other how it went.
Yeah, they'll be feeling a little bit dejected and annoyed themselves, I'm sure. That was a game that they could have traced a slightly higher degree of execution, I'm sure, from what they've been working on. And I've no doubt Dave Pascoe will get his gang together and look to improve on that in a few of those areas. As I said, set piece was by and large pretty good. A few inaccuracies and a couple of driving allowance early on, but they remedied those. Scored that great try in the 79th minute. But yeah, didn't quite get their backline firing, did they?
I mean, the time is not on my watch, it's on the ref's watch, and he obviously saw time for a restart. But yeah, it's so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking to be in that position. But I can see that on the pitch we're going to try and speak to the Royal Navy captain, Jared Hayler, who, win or lose, always speaks so well and does so well for the Royal Navy team and is such a focal player. But yeah, we'll now cut to Simon Hunter, who's speaking to the Royal Navy captain, Jared Hayler.
Well, after all that, I'm joined by the Royal Navy skipper, Jared Hayler. Tough lines this evening. How do you sum all of that up at the end?
I think for me it's just disappointing, really disappointing. Everyone in that team put their bodies on the line, and we had to go a new tactic tonight, and it didn't work out for us in the end. Everyone fought to the 80th minute, and that bounce of the ball gets you.
I mean, it was a very physical contest. Could you shed a bit of light on that new tactic and how you tried to counter their threats?
I think we knew that the French had a strong, dominant, pretty fast side. So we tried to match them physically. I feel we did match them physically, and when we went over for that maul try, I think everyone thought that's the game. But luckily they got that last kick of the game, and that's like I said, just how the ball bounces sometimes.
I'm sure it's all very raw at the moment, but what pleased you about your side's performance tonight? What were the areas you liked?
I think we definitely put a performance together. The performance is positive. I think we've got, it was a fast surface, and everyone stuck their hand up for selection in a couple of weeks at Franklin's Gardens. I think all eyes are on the inter-services now, and the boys are going to get their tin hats on for next week and suck it up and a bit of a deep dive into us.
Well, all the best for those inter-services, which are coming up very, very soon indeed. I'll let you get over to the presentation, and we'll get back up to our commentary team, Kath Brazier and Lieutenant Colonel Tim Osman, for the presentations.
Well, thanks, Si, and great to hear from Jared Hayler. So disappointing, and I've seen Jared in so many situations. I've seen him in winning situations, I've seen him in losing situations, but he's such a level-headed guy for Navy and for UCAF Rugby.
Yeah, absolutely. Very honest summary from Jared. He knows his rugby well. He knows full well that there's areas that they'll like to tweak. Candid with some of his tactics, I'm sure, and he certainly wasn't going to tell Simon what they might be for the upcoming IS campaign. But yeah, they know where they will need to work on and improve, and he's quite right in telling they will do everything they can to make sure those improvements are remedied pretty sharply, tin hats and everything else that goes with it. So they'll be put through their paces, I'm sure, and they'll be quick to respond, I'm sure, to some of their inaccuracies this week.
Yeah, and we have to remember that the emotions come into the game, but the skill of rugby now within the military, you guys are just one step away from elite. A lot of the players are international players or club players and play week in, week out. So they're well used to dealing with the emotions and the highs and lows.
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of the course. Every game, I've said often, every game of rugby, one team generally loses. Jared's been a strong operator for Hartbury in the championship for many years now. You have to take the rough with this move. You lose well, you win well, and try and keep some balance across them. Not too high, not too low as you go with it, because the game will turn around and bite you otherwise. They'll be fine.
The French fans have taken over. The players aren't even involved anymore. They're going towards the presentation.
Yeah,
we will stay on air whilst
they do seem happy, don't they?
But yeah, they've obviously brought some travelling fans with them. They've now completely commandeered all the flags and banners for. But yes, there will be a quick presentation, and we'll stay with you so you can see that. But I'll hand over now to the presentation team.
From Marine Nationale, number 12,
And that's it. We see the Marine Nationale beat the Royal Navy here in the men's and women's rugby and in the lead up to the inter-services. Don't forget, we have live football, the final inter-services football, this Friday at Lincoln City, the RAF women against the Army women. And that kickoff is at 2 p.m. We'll be live from 1:45 live here on BFBS Forces News YouTube and Facebook. It's goodbye from me here, and thank you so much to Tim Oseman and his contribution. We'll obviously be seeing a lot of him during the inter-services, which gets underway on the 19th of April at Franklin's Gardens. But it's a goodbye from here. It's a sad day for the Royal Navy. No wins for them, but they've got everything to look forward to.
Towards the near post, he's headed on, and he's to the back of the net. That's a great save. Round the goalkeeper. Ball comes in. It is a leveller.
And it's a goal! 2-1 Navy!
It's a goal,
John!